Hello, everyone. It's me, your host, Chugga Chugga Choo Choo, and we're here today with Snow. We both beat Cyberpunk, and we want to talk a lot about it, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
I gotta ask, how many glitches did you come across?
I don't know if I counted the amount of glitches. It wasn't like as glitchy as the videos I've been seeing, but there were like a
Really?
few. There were
I
some
had
that I
some really good
specifically went
ones.
on my way to find too.
I had some really good ones, but I think we should talk first of all about the character you play as. I think that's one thing I
Super
want to talk
important.
most about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I played a female V.
I played a male V, so already different.
I did Corpo.
Oh, I did Street Kid. I knew I was gonna do Street Kid from the start.
Really? What interests
Yeah.
you?
It's just so like Nomad is kind of Mad Maxy, which is cool, but it's also kind of like hillbilly kind of, I don't know, it gives off that kind of vibe. And like Street Kid kind of reminds me the most of like gritty cyberpunkness. Like when I think cyberpunk, I think of like these gritty, like rain slick streets and kind of gangs and stuff like that, you know?
And that's the one from the gameplay trailer where you go with Jackie to hunt a person down, right?
So in Street Kid, you actually steal a car, and
Oh,
you get a job to steal a car, and then Jackie pulls a gun to your face, and then both of you get
really?
busted by the police, and they beat the shit out of you, and you like wake up in an alley, like putting your nose in place.
Man, I think Corpo was probably the worst one then. It was so lame.
It wasn't fucking lame.
It was. Okay, you start off at a mirror in the corporate headquarters,
Throwing up
and
or
this,
something, right?
yeah, and the guy's like, I want you in my office now. And I go there, and he's like, listen, I'm in cahoots with other people, and they want us dead. Well, they want me dead, but I'm going to put you in charge of that. And you're like, no, I'm out. He's like, no, you can't get out. You're like, yes, I am out. Check it out. And you try leaving, and then you start killing everyone else inside different buildings, and it gets kind of chaotic on their end, but there's no action on your end. And then Jackie meets you in a bar, and it felt like nothing happened. I should have went to a different route.
Yeah, I highly suggest Street Kid is fucking awesome. I highly suggest Street Kid a lot. And then like I don't know if do you have a montage with Jackie afterwards?
Yeah, I had a montage.
You might
That made
have
no
this.
sense to me.
You might have the exact same montage. I'm not sure,
It made
but
no sense. I went from corpo to like a carjacker or like a drug dealer or something. It was crazy.
yeah, I don't know. Everyone that I knew that wanted to do corpo was like, dude, I'm gonna be bougie as fuck. I'm gonna have so much money. And I was trying to explain to them like, you understand, like all three life paths like meet up in the same place, right? So like, there's no way you're gonna. I'm like, if you start corpo, you're obviously gonna fall out of the corpo biz and like be broke as fuck, like the nomads and the street kids. Like, it's
Yeah.
just gonna happen.
I actually
Yeah.
found a glitch where I had a million eddies.
What the fuck? That's a good glitch to have. What?
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you it. I'll tell you it. The other one, the big mall where you fight all those big buff dudes.
Yeah, the
Okay,
animals.
so
Pacifica.
I saved it after beating the boss, and I reloaded because I had an issue with my game, and she was still alive, and I killed the boss again, and I just kept doing it,
Huh.
and I got 30,000 eddies every time. And I was like, okay. So I spent 4 hours on a stream just abusing this glitch, and I got a million eddies. I bought a baseball
4
bat.
hours? You bought
Yeah,
a baseball bat? I have a legendary golden baseball bat with like nuts and rivets in it.
dude, I had a legendary baseball bat called Baseball Bat, and it did 1,500 damage and attacked 5 times a second.
Holy shit. I don't know if I had that. All right, so
It was
real quick.
insane.
I think the you should definitely, if you do play Cyberpunk, I haven't tested Nomad, but I definitely think you should avoid Corpo. Like
Yeah, I recommend that
it
too.
doesn't make a lot of sense to me with the story that you would be a Corpo. You know what I mean? And I feel like Corpos themselves are kind of like snotty, not mercs. Like you wouldn't be a merc if you were a Corpo. It
I got
doesn't
a
really
question
make
though.
sense.
Every time I had a conversation with someone that influenced how the game changed, I was able to choose a corpo option. Did you have other options for Street Kid?
There were Street Kid options, yeah.
I think they're actually the same thing, just labeled corpo and Street Kid.
So you think that regardless what life path you chose, you have a Corpo or Street Kid option?
For that fourth like option that comes up sometimes, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
the same thing, just relabeled.
I can't confirm it. It is possible. I would assume that there are different options. Like regardless, it doesn't really change. The only thing those options ever really change is if you get like a little more money or like avoid a fist fight. You know, it's not really like
What's
a
that?
big.
What's that one mission where the guy was religious at the very end?
Are you talking about the guy that gets? We're doing spoilers here, right?
Yeah,
Are,
if you're
are we
watching this
talking?
podcast, there's spoilers for
Yeah,
sure.
spoiler warning. Are you talking about the mission with the serial killer?
Is he a serial killer? I didn't listen to a story at all.
The dude that wants to get crucified.
Yes, that I did crucify him. Did you?
Yeah, I crucified the fuck out of him.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I was like sitting there nailing his fucking wrist into the cross, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Hey, no, listen.
In more ways than
I
one.
saved and reloaded that mission like 9 times because every option you don't choose that's correct ends the mission.
Really?
So you must have chose the right path every time.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like okay, when he says like, do you want to do this now? And you say, I'll think about it later, the mission ends. That one chick who's like, I'll bribe you if you leave, and you say, yeah, I'll take the money, the mission ends. Like there's no continuation.
So we got like a special little tree.
Yeah.
Huh,
And
that's weird. I didn't think about it at all. Like kind of going through that, I was really up until the very end, I was really 50-50 on whether I was going to let him crucify himself or not. But then I realized like streaming a crucifixion in a game is a lot more interesting than just taking the money and like not going. And I didn't really give a fuck. So I'm like, yeah, I'll let him crucify himself. Like if it's what he believes in, I don't give a fuck.
Okay, I want to talk about like skills. You maxed out your skills, right?
What do you mean by max out?
Like what you wanted to be. You want to be like.
Oh yeah, so you want to talk gameplay basically, like play style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like your
so
build.
I went Street Kid, and since the game was first announced, like back in 2013, I knew about like Mantis Blades, and I was like, I want to be a Mantis Blade user, right? But
wow.
these past couple months, like leading up to the game, so did everyone else. Everyone wanted the Mantis Blades because they're so cool. So I made a conscious decision, like in the last week before the game came out. I'm like, I'm not gonna be a Mantis Blade user because everyone's gonna fucking do it, and that's lame. I want to be unique. So I really fell in love with the Gorilla Grip arms, like the cybernetic like fists that you get. Because I'm like, I want to pry open doors and like rip people's jaws off and beat them to death with it. So I rolled a brawler, and then like there's a flashback where you play as Johnny Silverhand where you use his fucking pistol, and then I fell in love with his pistol, so I'm a brawler that uses pistols, and I guess I have a sniper too that I sometimes use, but
Wait, you actually get Johnny's pistol?
yeah, it's from a side quest.
Wow,
You get his whole outfit. I also have his car.
I don't have his car.
I am a huge Johnny Silverhand fanboy, by the way.
Are you now?
Yeah, huge. Like, I don't think you understand.
What appeals about him?
Dude, everything. He's so cool. I don't know how to. That's like a whole thing. We'd have to talk about the story, I guess.
Yeah, we have. This is what it's for, right?
Yeah, I guess if you want to jump into that, I thought maybe you wanted to talk about your playstyle.
Okay, let me talk my build first, and then we'll talk Johnny Silverhand and why I hate him.
Okay.
All right, so I did Gorilla Arms too. Only
nice.
I wasn't too big on Mantis Blades, and I wanted to do like a fist fighting thing in the arena, like those brawler missions.
Yeah.
And they said you can't use the whip. I wanted to use the whip.
I had the whip. I got the whip like a legendary whip. I don't know how, and I was using it for like a bit until I got the Gorilla Arms. The whip was kind of OP, but I really just vibe with Gorilla Arms. They're cooler.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can open doors like locked doors. You know, some of those doors are like it's locked, you can't open it.
Well, you can do that shit with you don't need Gorilla Arms to open locked doors. You just need strength.
Oh.
Which I thought was kind of stupid personally. Like there are some problems with the game. It's not like a perfect game. Granted, I love the game, but I don't think you should have like I think you need like sometimes 8 or 10 strength to open a door. So you can have 20 strength and not have Gorilla Arms, you not have any prosthetics on your arms. I feel like that shouldn't be the thing. It should be like you need Gorilla Arms to open the door. Oh. I feel like that should be cool. Just like you might need the whip thing, the melee whip. What was it called? Mine was like a laser whip.
But just whip. That's like
yeah. Well, maybe you need the whip to hack something. You know what I mean? Like you would, because I know you can like range hack with it. I saw somebody do it. I was gonna say like maybe it gatekeeps, so you need the whip to hack with it. Because I really didn't fuck with like before I had the Gorilla Arms, I was prying open doors, and I'm like, I mean, it's cool, but it'd be cooler if I unlocked that once I got the Gorilla Arms. You know?
Okay, what legs did you have? I had I started off. I did the entire game with the stealth legs, so I could run around and not be caught. But then I changed it up to the double jump legs, and I had a better time.
Oh yeah, I don't have the double jump legs. I have like a charge jump. So like you hold down jump and you can like jump 15 feet vertically.
If you're falling down to your death, you can jump right before falling on the double jump. You don't die.
Oh, that makes so much sense. That's so stupid. I love it. No, but yeah, I had like a charge jump. And here's the thing I want to talk about. The charge jump opens up a lot of interesting possibilities because like there's certain like little bases or like
Yeah.
cubbies that like you're not, you're supposed to go in through the front door. I would just hop over the fucking fence. Like I would not give a fuck. I would just whoop and fucking like frog in there and just start punching the shit out of everybody, which was really
Bro.
cool. Really stupid skill on the things I would change, or like I hope mods fix in the future. There are these fence doors. Okay, so there's like
Yeah.
it kind of looks like a Jurassic Park cage. Like you would fit through the holes like if you just crouched, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But there's like these fence doors, and you need like a scavenger, whatever the fuck the scavenger tree is. I didn't put any points into it. You know how there's like cool reflexes, strength.
Oh,
I
right.
don't know if it's tech or whatever. The one for like disassembling. Like if you have enough disassemble points or whatever, you can open the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
supposed to be like, oh, that's what that's for. I don't even need a charge jump. If you just jump at the door, there's no barbed wire on the top. You grab onto the top and vault over it. So what is the point of leveling up the skill to open the door? Like I didn't even have double jump or whatever. Like I literally looked up with my gorilla arms and I jumped, grabbed onto the ledge, and like climbed over. And you don't need special jumpy powers. I thought that was really fucking stupid.
What was your favorite non-melee weapon then?
Favorite non-melee weapon was Johnny Silverhand's pistol. The melee is a flamethrower. It fucking does crits like a motherfucker. The reload, you like spin it around. It's so cool.
If you do the one mission with that the girl from the desert, she'll give you a Widowmaker if you ask for it.
I have the
like
Widowmaker, yeah.
It's pretty good. It's not bad.
I used it for a bit until I got a better sniper.
Actually, you found a better one? I couldn't find a better one.
I found like a bolt action one. It has like one less round than the Widowmaker, I think, and does like more damage.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had to snipe a couple times. Oh, actually, I want to tell you this. You know that one mission at the very end, where it's like they throw 100 guys at you?
Okay, so real quick, the ending is different depending on what you choose.
Okay, did you still have the same amount of enemies?
I don't know, man. I haven't done the other endings yet. Like, okay, so the ending I did, I'll just say it now because I'm not trying to. I still want to wait to see what the other endings are. But the ending I got, I ended up choosing to let Johnny Silverhand take over. And then,
I see what you did. Okay.
And then me, Rogue, and Johnny Silverhand, like we just like before, like 50 years ago or 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I think. We like ride into the fucking Arasaka Tower on a fucking like helicopter plane thing with a minigun.
No, I didn't
and then
get that
like
one.
yeah, we
God.
like bust into the garden area and we're like lighting people up in the garden.
So if you don't want the spoilers, then I won't tell you my ending.
Yeah.
But just imagine this, okay? At least 20 enemies with heavy armor, like the hard kind of kill. And I walk in with my bat and I just club the shit out of them. So like there's a funny technique you can do where you can run, crouch, and it causes you to slide. And if you attack with a bat while sliding, it's slow motion.
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing with my fucking fists. All the time.
I bonked everyone to death. Sent them all to horny jail.
So wait, here's the thing. When I do the slow motion slide, you can also dodge, like evade with it, right?
Yeah.
When I do that, I like I speed up when I do it. I don't know if it's a glitch. Like it's my pistol, I think. So like when I slide with my pistol and then I aim, the world stays in slow motion, but then I start moving really fast. Like and I can like strafe around people while they're in slow mo. Yeah.
Bro, okay. Actually, let's keep talking about mechanics before we dip into story.
Yeah.
I want to talk about like the imbalancement of the game.
Game's super imbalanced, but I don't think that's like I don't think it's necessarily a game that's supposed to be. So one of the things I noticed in balance in particular, there's like health kits everywhere, right? Yeah. Like I have 900 million health kits. I've never had the problem in this game where I run out of like health potions or like bandages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, running out of health potions and bandages is just like innately fun. I think games should just get rid of it. Like I understand there's some games that have a place for it, but especially in a game like Cyberpunk or like GTA or something like that, like I would hate Cyberpunk if I had to go to the store and buy like health kits. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's fun gameplay. I think the fact that every enemy drops like a little health pack, so I just stay in the fight and I just fucking chug on this inhaler and do drugs like every time is fucking great. I thought that was awesome.
I had to handicap myself to have fun because I realized I can sit in a corner, just toss grenades and win every fight. So I decided to go melee, and that wasn't enough. So I decided to use sneak only and never get caught. And that's the only way I had fun.
I had fun. So I started out on hard difficulty, and the enemies were really bullet spongy. I had to turn it down. I didn't have to turn it down, but like I did this one mission. It was like the Johnny Silverhand flashback where you're like on the turret and you're gunning people down. And I was sitting there, and it took like a solid like 9 seconds of continuous turret gunfire to like
Oh
drop
my
a
god.
dude. And I'm like, I paused it. I'm like, I'm gonna reload this mission on normal difficulty, because there is no way this dude is supposed to take like 10 seconds of fucking 50 cal turret. Like it was, they were so bullet spongy. I felt like it was taking away from my enjoyment, because I was noticing I turned it down to normal and the game was like really easy, but it also let me play exactly how I wanted to play. Like it wasn't challenging, and I did die, but I had fun.
I found out that those rail shooter parts, where you're shooting robots behind your car or you're shooting people in a building,
Don't matter.
a lot of them are a bit sequenced. So a lot of enemies have like 1 HP remaining. They don't die until the certain point when they're allowed to die. So
Yeah.
it keeps the sequence going. Because I've actually played other rail shooters, like, Call of Duty events, where you kill all the enemies and you're sitting there for the helicopter to finish rotating around a building 6 times. And it's like, well, I'm just doing nothing. So
Makes sense a lot, like especially when they send the Arasaka assassins after you. Like one of them is at like no health, and then he crawls up like onto your hood, like with his mantis blades, and starts swiping at you, right? Like,
Yeah.
imagine if you killed him and then you're just driving, like, and he's not. Like that was a really cool part. So I understand why the rail shooter parts, like, they're a little more scripted and
Which I don't mind, honestly. I like a story game.
Yeah, no, they did it to like substance the action. Because like if you're Shroud and you headshot all of them, right? Like you don't have the cool part where you have to like crash the car to like pin him to the wall and then shoot him in the head while he's like freaking out. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's like half the fun.
That'd be like Skyrim's level of jank for sure.
Yeah. On bugs, I think the bugs are really funny. Like really funny.
What was a good funny bug you had?
I had a really good bug. I went into a strip club, and the female dancer model was for some reason replaced with like this dirty homeless
Like a hobo
fisherman. Yeah.
I had one too.
I posted it on Twitter.
I had one too. I was like, oh, gross. I just walked on.
That was a weird glitch. I got stuck in the ground once.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cars just disappear and then reappear like in meters in front of me while I'm driving. So like I crash.
Yeah.
I called my car or my motorcycle. I used motorcycles a lot because the only car that I liked was Johnny Silverhand's car because it handles really good.
I had the Outback like Wrangler.
Yeah,
it worked really well.
I a lot of the cars I really didn't like because the field of view of them is so limited, and I found like as soon as I got onto a motorcycle for the first time, I'm like, I can see so much of the city, and the city is so beautiful. Like
I changed your view.
What do you mean?
You can press Q to go like third person.
I don't like third person. I don't like
really?
it. Yeah, I like first person. But yeah, I also like driving in third person. Like the driving isn't particularly good, so like in third person, I think it's fucking worse. But in first person on a bike, like every single 2 seconds, I swear is a screenshot, like a wallpaper that you can have. The game looks really fucking good, despite all like the glitches. Every single street, there's like a million. I got really high last night, and I was just playing the game for like 2 hours, just driving around taking screenshots. Like every single street is a fucking wallpaper in the making. It's a fucking beautiful looking game. I like the city a lot.
Contest to see who can take a better screenshot, because I found some pretty cool places too.
I've been taking a shit ton of screenshots. I upload them all the time in my Discord.
Nice.
Spam up this channel.
So I hit this one chick at the very end. Who's that one girl with the braided haircut, and she tries to do a business deal, and you end up killing one of the CEOs? You entered a room with all in BDs, and you kill the one guy, and she's like, "I'm taking over the business now."
Oh yeah. At like the cloud place. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What'd you do there?
I think I killed the dudes in the room and then let her take over.
Okay, I didn't let her take over, and she like came at me with a butter knife, doing 1 damage tax. I bonked her twice with a bat, and her leg fucked up so bad it glitched into like a mess. I scrambled her leg up. It was so funny.
Yeah, I punched the fuck out of this dude, and it looked like one of those things where like, you know, the Batman meme, like the now talk, like his arm and leg were bent the wrong way, and like I'm like. I was supposed to just beat him up and like capture him alive, but I beat the shit out of him, and then he fell down. I was punching him still, like when we played Gang Beasts.
Yeah,
that's why I really liked the melee build. But then I'm like, wait, did I kill him? And then you just see like this pool of blood start pooling up underneath him, like really big. It's like,
Listen to this glitch. I
maybe
had a
it's
glitch
okay.
where if I pick up a body and I put it on the ground, it would just launch itself in the ground at Mach 10 and blow up. It would like
My
destroy
chat
everything.
told me where to find this ledge, and when I jump on it, it launches you. And I just like
Really?
spent 20 minutes, or not 20, but like 10 minutes just like killing myself by launching myself into the air and landing and dying.
It was
It
just
was
so
kind of
funny,
cool.
like stealthing around, and then like you pick a body up and you put it on the ground and it blows up and no one hears it. It's like, what
I
the
saw
fuck?
somebody walking without a head. That one was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I had some really good ones too. Like, okay, so a bike was in the ground, and I look at it, and NPC goes, "What the fuck?" It was a great little timing.
Really good mods that I've seen. My friend, so I don't know if, when you go to buy the drone, you remember there's like a dude named Dum Dum who like talks to you and offers you like a hit.
Yeah, reminds me of Beast in VR chat. It calls his fans dum dums.
Yeah, well anyway, he did that mission. He killed Dum Dum, but then Dum Dum just became a companion and would like follow him around for like the next half of the game. So he spent half the game with like this AI NPC following him around, and every time he got in a gunfight, like Dum Dum would back him up. And like he said, he realized that like he got in a car randomly and he looked to his right and he was sitting there and he scared the fuck out of him. And he's like,
Oh,
yeah, he'd be like driving and like the cops would be chasing him and Dum Dum would like lean out the window and shoot at the cops. I'm like, dude, you had a whole ass like secret companion that the rest of us didn't have. That's
that's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. Must
Yeah,
have
it
missed
was
it.
a glitch. It's not supposed to happen.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Okay. All right. Okay, we can talk on story if you like.
Yeah, I fucking dude, the story's amazing. The writing in particular, so fucking good. So good.
I beg to differ, but I did find it very entertaining, and it did follow a nice storyline.
I thought it was fucking awesome, like from start to finish. I thought
What?
it really threw in a bunch of like, man, that
How
was
about
fucking awesome.
well, how about I tell you my opinion and you break it
Okay,
down?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay. So you start off with a character who makes sense because you had something and then you start from zero. So it shows your character had experience in something and it wants to do more to strive better. However, I don't feel the motivation is there to do anything more. Your character, you build the motivation, but it feels like you're being guided the entire time. I don't get how your guy gets so popular because they montage it, but I guess it kind of is a throwaway to begin
So
with.
here's the thing. I'll break that down. The montage at the start, you're not popular like at the start of the game. Like at the start of a game, you're still another no name. You know what I mean?
Right.
That first mission with the Dex is like you're trying to weasel your way into like the big leagues, pretty much. Like you're still a no name, like fuck you, Merc. And that
Okay.
first mission with Dex, like you by all means should have died, but because of the biochip, like you survived, and that's like your first. That's like the inciting incident that like starts this whole like meteoric rise to fame. And also, as far as like the motivation isn't there, maybe you played it differently, but for my character and like the way I played it, the motivation's like been there the entire time. One of the reasons I vibe with the game so hard, and it's the reason I made you watch that trailer at the start. For those of you,
Yeah.
it's called the Cyberpunk launch trailer. It's a really good trailer. You should
I'll
watch
post it
it.
in chat for them.
The trailer essentially like goes over the theme of the game, which the theme of the game is like, how can I word this? It's not like not fame or whatever, but it's like what is the cost of greatness? Is that? Would you agree with that? Like the cost of greatness?
I don't know if it's a cost of greatness because I feel like there's an inevitability to everything in the end of this. Like, for example, your character knows she's gonna die or he's gonna die. It was a girl for my case. So,
I think if you play differently, it works differently though.
well, I mean, my
Might be wrong.
character, like your brain's getting affected by Johnny, right?
Yeah. Well, like here's the thing. I know you can. I didn't really think about how other people might view it, but like so one of the things like I really vibe with the game is like there's this Dex brings it up like right in the first mission with him where he's like, would you rather live in peace as like a nobody or go down in like a fucking blaze of glory that everyone will remember, right? And then that's the whole point of the afterlife too. Like every merc in the city, like you become so fucking huge and then you do this great feat and then they name like a drink out of you and you're like immortalized as this legend. So like Johnny Silverhand blew up Arasaka and he's like one of the most well-known like people in the city, like legends of Night City, right? Adam Smasher, he like sacrificed his humanity to become like the perfect killing machine. and like he's notorious as like the biggest, baddest person in Night City. You know what I mean? So like there's this
Okay.
reoccurring theme that like to become a somebody in Night City, you really have to like you have to give it your all. And the whole point of the story is it's asking you like this moral question of like, do you still want to become this Night City legend, like knowing that it'll cost you everything? You know what I mean?
I see what you mean. However, I think that okay, that makes sense then. Actually, no, now I think about it, because they do poke fun of themselves for this. Remember that part where you talk to the old fuck and he's like, "You want to buy some records?" And you ask for the Samurai's original records,
Yeah.
and he mentions this kid who's never heard of Samurai,
Wait, he
and
mentions
it's
a kid.
yeah, he's like this. He's like talks about he's talking to some new kids, and they're like this new kids music. They don't even know who Samurai is.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's mentioning in a way they're kind of poking fun at that perspective because they're saying, sure, you went through all this trouble, you nuked an entire city, and now you're immortalized as some dive, but the new generation has no idea who you are because you can't keep a proclaimed self image, you know. And I guess the corpos are keeping the same way too. They're becoming immortal in some way or another. And that's, I don't want to go into spoilers if you don't want me to, but you probably
Yeah.
beat the game, and the guy became immortal in the end, right?
Ah, I
So
didn't. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're talking
yeah,
about with alt in like the free AIs beyond the black
no,
wall.
no, I had a different ending entirely. I chose the base ending where you just accept Arasaka and you let them kill you.
You what? You accept Arasaka?
Do you want to hear it?
Nah, I'll wait for it. I'll wait for it.
Okay, it's
Because
a
I was
pretty
gonna
big
do,
cool.
I was gonna like watch all the other endings at once and then give my live opinion on it at some point.
Okay, I won't spoil that then.
Yeah,
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, I guess it kind of tips on a scale of what does it mean to die and then keep going, right?
yeah.
So it also doesn't tip on a scale of like what does it mean to be alive at all, because I feel like the whole show or the whole game, the whole perspective is you're dead already, and this is what life is
Well,
like.
here's the thing. So in my ending, what happens is you break into Arasaka, you upload, and you have alt, and Johnny Silverhand takes over your body because it's deteriorating and like you can't do it anymore. So I gave over the reins to Johnny because I trusted him. Me and him had like some real bro shit going on. So we did that. We teamed up, and then he gets me there. He plugs my brain in. The idea is they'll download V's consciousness and then re-upload it to take over like V's body and like delete Johnny, basically, pretty much.
Okay.
But the problem is V's brain has been rewired for Johnny's consciousness, so it rejects V. So now V like can't go back in his body. So Johnny is stuck in his body, and then V with Alt Cunningham, like her legendary AI or whatever that uh like evolved, and what's it called, like past the black wall or whatever,
Yeah,
like
the black wall.
free rampant AIs or whatever, right? V, his personality, he joins Alt and the rest of the free AIs and like the neuronet or whatever. So he
There
becomes
is
immortal, but Johnny Silverhand gets a second chance in V's body. And like
isn't that a secret ending?
that's not, there is a secret ending that I don't know about, but no, that's just one of the endings.
I
As
know
far
there's
as
a
I can
secret
tell.
ending if you have a 70% relationship with Johnny or more.
A 70?
Yeah, it's hard to get 70.
70.
You have to hit all his side quests and do a perfect dialogue of him the entire game, and you get a above a 70, and then you can do a secret ending.
Ah, I had no idea.
I think you go to the moon or something. I don't know how it works. I just read briefly about it. I don't want to spoil myself, right? So I'm definitely going to play Cyberpunk more. So I know Johnny's your favorite character. Do you want to hear mine?
I don't know if he's probably my favorite character actually.
Okay.
It's weird. I never considered like a favorite. I just like the characters, you know, they're so lifelike to me. A lot of them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I can see
each
that.
character kind of has their own. I think a lot of the characters aren't one dimensional. Is what I really like about them.
They do
Which
have
is
their own backstories. Yeah.
they all have their own backstories. Like their motivations feel like they make sense too. That's like a really big thing. It's not just like I forget his name. What's in? It's like
I know who you're talking about, the detective, right? River?
not even River. River is kind of
No?
like one of the weaker ones. I think. What's
Really? I
the
thought he had the best
what's the
backstory.
Asian dude that like
Oh, Goro. Yeah.
Goro, for example, like I completely understand, especially when you talk to him about like his upbringing and stuff. Like you completely understand like his perspective.
I
And
got a
like his
funny thing about
motivation.
Goro. If you walk away from his dialogue when he's talking to you, he'll go, "Do you have that thing called the ADHD?"
Yeah, Goro's pretty cool. He
He kind of
hated me
won
at
on
the
me.
end though.
I didn't like him at the start because I thought his voice actor was like bad, but then I realized his voice actor is just trying, so I ignored it. Right, and I started liking him. There's that one scene where you're talking about the blimp, or
Hmm.
whatever it is, the floats, and he's eating a burger. You guys sit at a restaurant, and they're eating like those pogo sticks.
Terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, and he just turns to you, and he says something charming, and it pauses, and he smiles, and I thought, damn. This is some good fucking pacing, because I didn't like this guy before, but just turning on me, and now I realize I don't give a shit about his story at all. But like, he is a character that I like because I respect his resolve. If
Yeah.
anything, like if any character deserves like I'm already dead, let's just do what we want, it's him. My character doesn't deserve that. I felt like he was the main character.
Really? You thought he was more of a main character than Johnny Silverhand?
When Johnny Silverhand died 50 years ago.
Yeah, but his AI like lives on, dude. It's fucking crazy how I thought the Johnny Silverhand arc I thought was so fucking good. Like it starts off and like you both fucking hate each other. And then
Yeah.
like as the course of the story goes on, like he starts like becoming like he's like snarky and funny and I'm like, dude, I kind of vibe with Johnny. And then you go through like his flashbacks and like, dude, this guy's cool as fuck. Like he was out here doing rock shows, pointing the fucking pistol at the crowd. Then he's like fucking this fucking girl backstage, and then he like blows up Arasaka, and I'm like, that was some cool shit. Like I respect the fuck out of this man now.
What
And
was
I'm
his
like,
motivation though?
what do you mean?
He just hated Corpo, but why?
Wait, he hated. You're asking why did he hate Corpo?
He just hated Corpo because Corpo was evil. Is that why?
It's like that. That's essentially what it is. It's a little more nuanced. Like he kind of he's kind of like the whole like rebel thing, you know. He was looking for some. I don't know. It's hard to fucking explain. He's a complicated character. He explains it like differently, 3 different fucking times.
He
But
riddles when he talks. I don't like that.
he does a little bit, but yeah, he essentially hates the Corpo world because like he thinks it's poisoning everybody. That's what he thinks, and it kind of is like the Corpo wars and like how the Corpo like I don't know. It's hard to explain.
And you know what I would like? I would like if Johnny had less flashbacks and there's a DLC to play as Johnny's storyline.
That might happen. I mean, they'll
I can see that
definitely do
happening.
expansions. I'd like more Keanu Reeves.
I would.
He's one of the
I
better
mean, like,
characters.
I feel like if they don't do it and they said, "Oh, the flashbacks were enough," I don't think we got enough of it because I want to know what Corpo did to make Johnny go, "Oh, you're dead." You know,
I
like,
mean,
what do you do
well,
to make a person go full Hitler on a company, right?
like originally it was just the fucking. It was that they took alt, right? That's like the first time.
I think so, but like,
Well, like
he
he
treats
hated
everyone the same.
he hated the corpos, but he didn't like bomb. He wasn't a terrorist. You know what I mean? They stole his girlfriend, who like he was obviously in love. Well, by the way, he had 2 girlfriends, badass. But anyway, they steal his girlfriend and fucking almost kill him. So he like
Yeah,
breaks into the corp to try and like free her, and then he finds out like, oh, she's like half dead. They like ripped out her consciousness and downloaded it into this like database where they can just like keep her as a slave forever and like use her mind to like further their agenda. And that's when he's like, well, not only are they like stealing people's souls and like using them to like like tools, like as like I said, slaves or prisoners, but
yeah.
also they did it to like the woman he cares for. So that's
I
like
would.
when he became a terrorist, and he's like, Corpo's like, I hated them before, but now like I have to give my life to kill them.
I get the fact that he's a bit of an on edge character and he's unpredictable, but I don't think he fired a gun at his audience before she died.
I don't think he shot his audience though. That I think that comes with more of like he's the whole like rocker boy, like kind of, you know what I mean? Like he's a little bit.
He did though.
For
He shot a member. He shot a random member in his audience, and his band member was like, "You can't just go killing people. What are you gonna do next, Johnny?" And he's like, "Out of my way.
no, I
I'll
don't
make my
think
own
I don't
rules."
think he hit the person. Did he?
No,
No, I don't.
he shot. I swear to God, he killed someone. That's what he
He
mentioned. I don't know.
definitely didn't kill somebody in his audience. I think
Sounds like
either he wounded him or he missed. And he's like, no one died. And then Carrie was like, what if you hit somebody? I think that's the interact. But the whole point about Johnny is like he's kind of like spiraling and he's like not in a good place. So he's supposed to be like drugs, alcohol, like fucked up, like doing reckless shit. I think he started a fire at like one of his shows that like nearly hurt a bunch of people. And he's like, yeah, that's badass. Like that's the
Oh
whole
yeah,
kind of he's supposed to be like a rock star, but like chaotic kind of.
he's pretty chaotic. Yeah,
That's the whole point, though. He's supposed to be that.
I get that, but I mean, like, I feel like even if his girlfriend Alt didn't die, he still would have bombed Arasaka.
I don't think so. I think that's the main motivation behind it.
I feel like he was building up a repertoire where he had to do crazier and crazier shit to get more and more crazy. And he was pushing lines to see how far he can go. And he, as soon as his girl died, he decided to go to 100 instead of like 5% at a time.
Know if he would have bombed it though. Like, I don't think you understand. That was a fucking mini nuke or whatever that he lets off.
Yeah, it was a nuke.
Yeah, like I don't know if he would have just mini nuke. Like a lot of people died in that. I don't think just Arasaka. I think a lot of people died.
And he's so remorseless that he killed like hundreds of people.
I mean, yeah.
It's crazy.
That's the whole. So one of the other things that like V kind of brings to like Johnny is I think before, like I said before, me and like Johnny's relationship like as pals or whatever like blossomed. He kind of was just like this terrorist, you know what I mean? And like it didn't really make much sense. Like yeah, they killed his girlfriend, but like he's too obsessed with it. But by the end of the story, I think he cared less about that than he actually cares about like saving V. Like
so my Discord right now is I sympathize with antagonists. That's true. Usually bad guys in a story have a good backstory, the reason why
all the time, yeah. Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Or like the good ones at least. Joker is not so much a good
not
one,
so much,
but
that's because comic books are weird. But yeah. I feel Johnny's wasn't warranted. I feel like he started off as a drug-induced drunk rocker who got his merits through shock entertainment. And then he decided one day to blow up a building, and that's how he got very popular and immortalized. And he basically just did things that people thought were cool because no one likes Corpo. So he's like, oh, fuck that. I'm with a wave of people. Let's go do what everyone wants.
What you're saying is true, but I think you're putting too much emphasis. You're thinking that like Johnny did it because like he always wanted to one up himself, which is not at all his like motivation. And also Johnny Silverhand was also super famous before he blew up. The fact that he's like this rock star that did the nuke is like what really cemented him as like ultra famous. You know what I mean? Samurai was already super, like he was already like a legend in Night City. He was already at Afterlife. Like he fucking Samurai, Johnny Silverhand, you know, he was already crazy popular.
I get your point. I don't know too much before his
I think you're focusing too much that you have the idea like he needed to one up himself for the validation because
that's right.
He wanted to be famous. Johnny Silverhand's thing is never that he wanted to be famous. That's V's thing, which I think you're confusing the two. Yeah, Johnny Silverhand, he kind of just did shit because he fucking hated the corpos, so he wanted to give voice to the, I don't know. His shit's kind of confusing. He contradicts himself a few times, but I think that's because he changes throughout the story. Like I said, like when he starts off, he very much is like a terrorist that's like kind of unsympathetic, and he's just kind of cool. And I won't lie, like he is charming. That's why like I'm kind of like, dude, Johnny Silverhand's cool. But then as the story progresses, like he matures and kind of, I don't know if you did Johnny Silverhand's side missions, but like there's one where you
like
go
10% on them.
Really? You would go do them like today. You'll like him so much more as a character. There's this one where you go to his grave and he like completely 180s as a character because he's like, there isn't even a marking on a grave. Like you just go to this landfill and he's like super depressed. He's like, I was kind of expecting there to be something, you know? And then he's like, I did all this. Like I don't know. He's like, you blow up a whole fucking building with a nuke and people remember your name, and then, you know, your body doesn't even end up with a tombstone or whatever, and people just fucking forget about you. And
that's
then
what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, yeah, so this is why you hate Johnny. You haven't done his story missions. What?
No, I hate Johnny because he's a reckless asshole.
Do his story. He changes. He like he matures as a person throughout the game.
I can't sympathize with him, and I can't.
You will. You will by the end. I promise.
How do you relate to him, actually?
How do I relate to him?
Yeah.
I think it's his. I think it's how he changes, like by the end of the game.
The softest thing I heard you say.
Wait, what?
I said it's the softest thing I ever heard you say.
Is that soft?
You're like, yeah, you're like, oh, he's such a changing person. I can change him. But
no. It wasn't like I can change him. I think I respect. I think I see a lot of myself in him because, like, especially like recently, I kind of I kind of realized like I was doing a similar thing where like I was like overly toxic and stuff, and I thought it was like, I mean, I thought it was great or whatever, right? And people liked it a lot. But I realized, like, oh, dude, I can do more than just be like an asshole all the time. You know what I mean? I have more to offer or whatever. I matured a lot this year. Yeah. I had an arc, if you will. I don't want to get too deep into it. But yeah, I realized a bunch of stuff, and I kind of like, huh.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of what he does in the story.
I'm glad you're changing without dying like Johnny was.
Oh, I am kind of dying. I might have corona. So,
All right, okay. Let's talk about another story part. Which girl did you like the most,
what's her
or did you go
face?
for River?
Pan Am. No, I didn't go for
Pan
River.
Am. Pan
Yeah,
Am.
Pan Am's the nomad chick with the fat ass.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
had dirty tank sex with her.
I'm not gonna lie. I friend zoned all of them.
Okay, so you had no sex.
None. No.
Did you
They
fuck the
tried.
prostitutes or
No. None of them.
prostitutes?
No.
You're a virgin in the game? V
I
for
was.
virgin?
I died virgin. Yeah.
You're lame as hell. What the fuck?
Every time a nudity scene came out, I was
Maybe
like,
that's
no.
why you dislike Johnny, because he gets mad pussy and you don't. That's fucking crazy, Chaga.
I kind of just like the fact I couldn't skip his nude cutscene. Yeah.
You didn't like that there was just naked women in his
I was like
cutscenes?
Waylon Smithers in a corner with strippers dancing on me. No, no. You know,
Why are you so offended by female nudity?
I think nudity in video games should be illegal.
What?
Yeah, I think it ruins the genre.
What the fuck are you talking about? That's like nudity in film or like art. What do you? It's just.
That's porn. That's not movies.
It's not porn though.
What do you get for showing tits? You get an arousal. Who are you pandering to?
You get realism.
Okay, realism?
People are naked, Chugga. I don't know if you noticed underneath our clothes. Like I see, this is what I don't understand about like the certain people, right? Why is nudity such a big issue? Like we all have penises or vaginas or tits or whatever. Why is it such a big issue?
It's about desensitization.
Okay, so here's all right. So this is gonna turn into a different argument. But you're out here complaining about desensitizing. But I see you have no problem with Doom, where you're ripping things open and like ripping their hearts out and feeding it to them and chainsawing them in half as they scream. So you have a problem with like a 20-second clip of a woman showing her pussy or tits in like a very gritty cyberpunk world where sexualization is like. Honestly, Cyberpunk paints it in a very, I think, realistic way, and that in the future we're gonna understand that like, oh, like sex really isn't that big an issue. Like it's just like violence or whatever. Like, yeah, sex is a thing, and then like media will embrace it kind of more like the Cyberpunk world does, or it'll be more mainstream. But I just think it's really weird to say like, oh my god, nipples should not be allowed. That's just for sexual gratification. But then in other games like. You fucking Red Dead Redemption, you skin a rabbit. Like, you shoot it, you go up to the rabbit, and you, like, rip its fucking skin off and peel it back, and you can see, like, the blood and the meat and the bone. And it's, like, visceral, and the, like, blood ends up on your shoulder when you pick it up or whatever. And it's, like, that's fucking, like, violence and gratification, like, murder gratification. It's the same argument, but, like...
There's actually two different arguments here. I feel that desensitization to gore is actually warranted, whereas nudity isn't, and it's for two different reasons.
I think desensitization to nudity is very important because it's natural. Like, I think it's really weird when people I see it on YouTube or whatever, right? Like, and it might be like streamers or YouTubers overreacting, but they see like nipples or titties or whatever, and they like freak out. And it's like, you're a grown ass like adult. You're like 25, 20 years old. Like,
I mean,
you should be able to handle like nudity, especially like I've been in art classes before where people have just like come in class like a model and they just get naked, and then like we spend 3 hours like sketching them in different positions, like as they're naked. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I want to see some stuff.
I haven't drawn in a long time. I used to be really big into art. But I think like nudity is very natural. I'm not saying like YouTube kids should have nudity, but I don't think there should be any reason why like an adult video game like should not be able to have nudity. You know what I mean?
Okay, listen, that's a totally different topic talking about art. Let me tell you why desensitization is different from gore to nudity, and then we'll move on to a different topic. Okay, so gore is something you're never going to want to experience in your entire life, right? You don't want to watch your friend get mangled. You don't want to mangle someone's face. You don't want to see your own body mangled. It's not a thing you want. So it's good to experience those things through a simulation in some way so that your body becomes desensitized. So when it does happen, you can react naturally and calmly and fix the situation when it happens. It's very important to fix those situations. In nudity, you want to be sensitive to it because it wants to be special when it happens to you. I remember when I was a high school kid, I held hands of a girl in a gym dance, and I never felt so fucking horny in my life. It was great, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, are you saying you want to be this like immature high school kid that like gets fucking nervous around titties for the rest
No.
of his life. Like I feel
What
like
I'm saying is,
I feel
every
like you
kid
have
needs
two
to have that
kids.
moment,
I
and
feel
if
like
you
you
ruin
have
it
two
for them
kids,
because they've
right?
seen porn,
You have a wife. Like you should not be sensitive to nudity. Like you
no,
should
no,
be
no,
an
that's
adult.
different.
You should be
That's different. What
experienced.
I'm saying is, the media right now is just so full of nudity and gore
I
that
disagree. I think the media is very full of gore and not nudity. I think there's a lot of times where people like sometimes like what was it like Shakira or Celine Dion or maybe not Celine Dion, like someone recently like for like the Super Bowl was wearing like an outfit. And they're like she's showing too much skin. It's like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like
well, that's FCC. That's different. That's like the actual like law.
I
and
feel like
overlay there.
I feel like it's super unhealthy that we as a society it kind of builds this weird thing where people are like uncomfortable. I don't want people to be comfortable naked like walking down the street, but you know what I mean. But I feel
It
like
sounds like you
there's
do.
a whole generation of like kids that grew up on the internet or whatever that are like
Yeah.
uncomfortable with sexuality, like just themselves being naked. Like there's probably a lot of people. I used to be like that. Like growing up, I was like not comfortable like naked in a mirror. You know what I mean? I felt
Right.
like fucking weird about it. I feel like that's weird. You shouldn't be like uncomfortable, like just being naked in a mirror, like if it's just yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're
You should
taking
be
a shower.
comfortable with yourself at all times.
Exactly, and I
100%
feel like I feel like understanding nudity and like seeing it more is like will help you get over that.
Well, kinda. It's more or less I want you as a person to experience it as you grow older, rather than having a media shoved down your throat. If every single movie, TV show, YouTube channel had the way to do it, like let's say it was legal 100%, you can show nudity. I guarantee you every single video would have nudity in it to catch up those people. Because humans are naturally drawn to nudity as a
Not
clickbait.
necessarily, because not every single like video or whatever has gore, right? It's the same thing how there's like kids
That's
channels or
different.
educational channels.
Not everyone wants to see gore. They're
Yeah,
curious
exactly.
about
Just
it.
like not everyone wants to see nudity, but I'm saying like it's the same. It's the same thing.
I'm okay. Yeah, sure. I'm not going to argue about that any further.
I
but-
can't. You can't just say like if nudity was allowed, everyone would do nudity because gore is allowed, and not everywhere does gore. You see what I'm saying?
I'm
And
saying
I
that
feel like you're very
games-
comparable.
A very large market of games goes to young kids, ages 8 to 15, right? That's a huge target. And I'm saying if you
A
include
15-year-old should probably understand like nudity. Like I think if you're playing like Skyrim or you're playing Cyberpunk and you're like 15, 16, like you can probably handle some titties in your game. You know what I mean?
8 to 15 is prepubescent. Their mind is malleable. I shouldn't be mending it the way I want it to. They should be experiencing their own thing.
Listen, if you're 15-year-olds, I don't know about you, Chugga, but when I was 15, I already knew what Pornhub was. Like, I was already looking up porn and, like, all these videos. 15-year-olds know what the fuck sex is. It's not, you know what I mean?
Back in 1956 when I was 15. Nah.
Like-
I know what
like-
you mean.
Like, maybe it's different, like, when you grew up, but, like, I was like 9 and I knew what porn was. So,
Well,
like,
had
I
had
feel like
five
this
brothers
whole
and sisters.
thing of, like, we need to protect, like, kids from, you know, sexual images in video games or whatever. Like if they're like 9 or whatever and you're not like a super Catholic parent that like nails your kid to like the anti-masturbation cross every night, which is like a real thing, they like strap them in so they can't, like, I feel like your kid knows what they have, the internet, they know what like sex is, and
Can you
I
have
feel like it
Amazon?
creates a weird disconnect that like kids have access, or like, you know, like 15, 16-year-olds, like they have access to the internet so they can look up pornography, but then like
now it's
everyone,
different.
but everyone, like the news in particular, treats like nudity like very weird and taboo. I feel like it creates this kind of weird kind of space for them to occupy.
Okay,
You know
so
what I
get
mean?
this. I'll end with my final argument. We'll see how you think about this, okay?
Okay.
So, you know and I both know that violence in video games does not result to violent people.
yeah.
There's been years and years of study of this, so no matter how violent a video game is, even Doom 2016, show that to an 8-year-old, they'll play it, they'll enjoy it, they won't become the next Doom Slayer and start shooting up the school or anything. But they do have
An 8-year-old
studies.
should be playing Doom. I don't know if
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I'm just giving an example, okay?
Yeah.
So they do have examples though of teenagers and young adults who look at porn excessively. I'm talking 3 to 5 times a day, right?
Mhm.
And it does change who they are at a genetic level. It gives them weird addictions, weird fetishes. It also changes the way they're desensitized to porn so much they actually have a higher chance of becoming very radical people.
I would probably argue though, and I don't think like violent video games make violent people, but I would probably argue like if you're someone that has like a predisposition to like being violent, then like violent video games don't help you. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you mean there.
Like I'm
the
saying,
whole,
if someone's a serial killer and they play something like Manhunt or like What's like a really fucked up game that like kind of
Okay, this is kind of stupid, but you know the guy who shot up a Batman cinema? His favorite game was Truck Simulator 2016 or something.
that's fucking weird. Like
Yeah,
that's like a whole different level of weird. But I'm saying like for example, like someone that plays like a game like Hatred, if they're already like antisocial and like fucked up, like Hatred isn't gonna fucking help them. You know, it'll probably make them worse off. So I'll
that's
say like
true.
violent
Hatred's
video
a bad
game.
game.
And I'm not trying. I never played Hatred. It looks complete ass. It looks like it's for edgy
It's
kids.
banned on Twitch too.
Yeah. But anyway, I will say like there are probably special cases where like pornography or violence like does push people into like weird kind of unhealthy addictions and or lifestyles or mindsets. But those people are probably already like it's not the only thing that's happening, right? Like if you become a sex addict, it's not entirely just because you found pornography. There's probably other shit happening in your life too. You know what I'm saying?
Possibly. I mean, what I'm saying is like, okay, so I told you I took forensics for 1 year in school, right? I went to college and I dropped out.
Sure.
Okay, so I didn't study too much in there because it was all bullshit. But the one thing we did study in the very first start of the semester was what we look for when you interrogate people. You ask them, you try and get them to let you in their house so you can look at their house, so you can like search their house.
Yeah.
The one thing you're searching for is their history on their computer, because if you can find a correlation of their search history, you can find out what kind of person they are. Because we found out that schizophrenics who kill people, they often search for certain types of porn, like how to do this to a girl, how to do this to a girl, or how to do that. And they look for these things because they've already looked at all the porn they can't find anything else. Like these are the kind of guys who will search for tags for days.
Yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, there's like millions of people that look up regular fucking porn and don't end up with schizophrenia. You see what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. I'm just saying like being desensitized to porn is far worse than being desensitized.
Also, I would definitely consider like the nudity in Cyberpunk is not porn. Like the sex scenes are literally like 5 seconds long, but they're 5 seconds long, and they're kind of tame. Like
now, you're talking to a guy who's never seen a VR porn game before, right? So I've never seen like.
Well, I'm not even comparing it to VR porn. I'm comparing it to regular porn. So, for example, you don't actually see penetration in Cyberpunk. Like, yeah, you see the girl's titties and you see her like kind of go down, but like you don't even see your own dick in it. Like you see nipples, and I don't think you ever see pussy. So I think you only ever see tits, and then you see like a couple first person like snippets of you POV, but like it's pretty tame. It's not. It is not a substitute for like actual pornography. Like if you wanted to look up real pornography, you would not like. I don't think you just look up the Cyberpunk like 5-second sex scene and like that would satisfy you. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is it's a slippery slope. Once you start including 5 seconds, eventually you'll get full penetration scenes, and eventually every game has to have it to sell.
I don't think that's true, because not every game needs to have violence in it. Animal Crossing is a good example. I wouldn't say violence does help. I'd say there's a certain genre of like violent video games. Peggle doesn't need violence. Like Animal Crossing doesn't need violence. And like even the whole gore thing, like Fortnite has violence, but there's no gore in Fortnite. You know what I mean?
The thing about violence is that our brains naturally want to simulate violence, right?
I mean, our brains naturally want to fuck too. So like, what's your argument?
That's the thing. The thing we want. The thing is, like I said before, you want to simulate violence. You want to simulate sex, but you don't want to be perceived as sex. You want to be perceived as violence because you're not going to have that in real life.
I think your argument also, this is kind of going off of Cyberpunk, but I think your argument is pretty much saying like as soon as like sex video games become mainstream, all video games will be sex video games. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You don't think that people get bored of jacking off and like want to do other things?
Do you?
Yes, that's why I play video games, dude.
I'm just saying, like some guys do jack off all the time.
So you think like playing Cyberpunk, I'm like, I'd rather be beating off right now. Like, is that what you really think?
I masturbate like once a year.
Dude,
like,
listen.
Very low.
Beating off is cool as fuck, okay? But like video games and stuff, like there is cooler things than, And
also your example of Animal Crossing is not real because Nintendo has been doing their own thing for 50 years. They never really listen to anyone.
Okay, but like I can think of a million games that don't have fucking gore, is my point.
Okay. I know what you're saying, but like can you name 50 games that don't have gore that are good?
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm just kidding.
Knights of the Old Republic doesn't have any fucking gore. It's fucking good.
Republic?
Let me think of like a recent
Knights of
title.
the Republic, you're literally a guy fighting people with lightsabers.
Yeah, but there's no
That's
gore.
violence.
Gore is like the thing we're talking about here.
Oh, okay, you're talking about like
Like
not the
theoretically,
killing part.
theoretically you can say like Animal Crossing has violence towards. I think you like beat hot like spiders with a stick or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, a little animal abuse here and there, but it's not bad. I know what you mean, but like you got to keep in mind that some games lower their
Okay,
gore
so
settings
what about
for
like
PG
racing
ratings.
games? Racing games don't have gore.
I fucking love racing games.
There you go. There's Cuphead doesn't have gore. Another example.
Well, it's violent.
I mean, it's not even that. It's like cartoon violence, though.
What I'm saying is there's so different levels of violence.
That,
right?
okay,
like,
but by that example, I'm saying so. Okay, so I'll take exactly what you said. There's different levels of violence. I think there's different level of like nudity. So Cyberpunk, I don't think is hardcore sex. So that's exactly what I'm comparing. It's not hardcore sex.
God,
so
I'm
like,
coming off like a fucking a nun.
You're basically saying like Cuphead. It's like Cuphead's a little bit violent. A little bit of violence is a slippery slope. Every single game's gonna have ripping heads off, and it's like that's.
But look at it.
But that's exactly the argument you're making towards
10
sex.
games come out, 9 games have violence in some way or another.
Yeah, but that you're making the exact same argument. Like you're like Cyberpunk has nipples in it, therefore every fucking game is gonna have full on sexual penetration, and that's all video games.
If Cyberpunk sells $1 billion worth of copies, then you better believe.
Do you think Cyberpunk is selling because there's nudity in it? Come on now.
I'm saying it's part of the resolve, you know.
No, I disagree. Cyberpunk is selling because it's like the game. It's not because of the nudity. If Cyberpunk had no nudity, no sex scenes, it would sell the exact same amount. You can't even tell me that. Like, there's no way.
Podcast went off the rails.
There's no way someone's gonna pay like $60 to buy Cyberpunk just because it has 5 seconds of nudity. There's no way. They heard it's a GTA clone. They like the genre. They hear it's like a cool RPG or a good story game. No one's buying it because they're like, there's sex in the game. I need to buy it because they would just fucking go look up porn.
Well, okay, here's the issue. Okay, Cyberpunk went through a lot of early game development where they said we're going to include this, we're going to include that, like the penis during the character creation screen. I mentioned this before, where they only added the penis because they promised it. It had no influence in the game.
Yeah. Well, I feel like here's the thing about the whole penis thing. I thought it was interesting that you can augment it so you could have like no penis or like no nipples or like a pussy if you wanted to, because it leads into the whole cyberpunk. I feel like it kind of got you in the whole cyberpunk zone because the body modification is very big in the cyberpunk genre. So I was a little disappointed that you couldn't have like a robot dick or something.
Did you stream the nudity?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay, well, you're a Christian Let's Play channel.
I'm not a Christian Let's Play channel, bro.
I don't think you understand. Like the nudity, I feel like the nudity is very important to Cyberpunk, like as a genre, though, because
why do you feel it's important?
Because the whole body modification thing, and also because in the future, I do think like nudity will not be seen as a big thing. I think currently, as I'll say as like a species, well, not species, society, we have like this really weird thing with nudity that I think is very childish, where we shy away from nudity and we're very like prudish towards it, which I think is a very backwards, like old way of thinking. Because like I said, everyone's naked, and I think in the future, like education on nudity and like sex will be more prominent, and people will be more comfortable in their bodies, and there won't be this like weird disconnect of like, ew, nudity, like that's so weird. I think we'll understand like, oh yeah, you're naked because I'm naked under my clothes too. Like that makes sense. Like it's not as weird of a thing. I think it'll be. And I think we'll still be advanced enough to be like, all right, yeah, like I understand that you're naked, but we still wear clothes and stuff because we get that. But at the same time, like I understand like pornography and like sex and like body modifications is a thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel like nudity will be respected more in the future. So I think that's the way of saying it.
You're saying it's important to Cyberpunk because they don't think it's important.
What do you? That's not what I said at all.
No, you did. You said it's very important for Cyberpunk because they treat the body like it's not important.
I wouldn't say they treat the body. So what I said earlier is I didn't think the sex was important for Cyberpunk selling, but in terms of like the in-lore universe, like I think part of like the Cyberpunk thing is to like show the differences, and like I mean the whole point of Cyberpunk is augmenting your body, and one aspect of that is the sexualization of it, right? So that's why there's all these like sex shops in the game, and like
I didn't like that at all.
I feel like you're just very prudish. I'm gonna be real.
I'm not prudish, man.
You're definitely very prudish. You're
I
like,
felt
I did
like
not stream the nudity. I did not like the sex shops. I felt very uncomfortable. That's like
I felt
very
like the
rude.
game was pandering to a crowd.
You're fully entitled to think that. I disagree.
What? It felt like that.
I think you live in a very backwards like mental state from
I
like
live in the same
eras
game
ago.
universe as you. We're both VR
No,
chat players.
I
Okay.
know you live in the same universe as me, but I think your way of thinking is like very old timey, and like I feel
Old
like
timey.
yeah, I
How?
feel like the
Oh my
like
god.
my mind space of how I think of nudity is like very forward thinking in the future.
Forward thinking, as in like it's okay to have no genitalia.
What do you mean?
That seems
Like
pretty
it's
backwards
okay?
to me.
It's okay to not have. I mean, if someone wants to not have genitalia, if they want to just be a Ken doll, like I don't see how that's my business. You know what I mean?
It should be your business. It should
Well,
be everyone's
well,
business.
no, because that's like saying you think it's okay for someone to have really sick robot hands. I don't, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, if they want to, like, why not? You think it's
Oh,
cool for someone to have chrome skin? You think that should be allowed? I'm like, yeah, if you want to like body modify yourself to just have chrome skin or like LED eyes, I fully
wait, you
embrace
want
it.
Cyberpunk IRL?
Absolutely.
You're fine.
I am one of the people. So Adam Smasher is like a very cool figure to me. I've been looking forward to fighting him since the game was announced
Yeah.
because the whole thing of Adam Smasher is he sacrifices his humanity to become the perfect killing machine, and I always thought that was cool because if you ever thought about like your mortality and like dying, growing old, your body becomes like weaker and like your skin or whatever you become more and more imperfect as time goes on, like aging.
Mhm.
Like there's a possibility that within our lifetime, technology will be able to fix that. And then like at that point, it becomes, you remember the whole, is it the ship of Theseus? Where like if you pull the planks off the boat one at a time and replace them, is it still the same boat when you replace every single plank?
They actually determined that. You want to hear the story?
Well, I don't care what the determination on it is, but I think it still is the same boat because it's
They,
the
they
journey.
determined that if the interior build is the same as you replace the exterior, and then you replace the interior, it's still the same boat.
Well, whoever determined that is like very up their own ass and wrong, actually. Because the whole point is it's supposed to be it's not the answer that matters. It's more of what you think that matters because it's a question with no real answer, and it determines what you think about the philosophical question. It's not the answer itself is completely dependent on the person.
I feel that if you replace your whole body over time, and if you still get phantom pain, then it's not your body.
Okay, but here's the thing: your body replaces its cells all the time anyway. You shed your skin, your cells are not the same that they were like 10 years ago,
But
5
then
years
you get
ago,
used to it.
not even probably 6 months ago, right? So it's slowly replacing your cells one by one anyway.
True, but you get used to it, so it is your body still.
Yeah, so over time you'll get used to you replacing your body with robot parts. Here's the thing, right? We all change as people. Like 6 months ago, I was a very different person than I am now. Like this past 6 months, like I said, I've realized a bunch about myself, and then like 6 months from now, I'll probably realize like more about myself, and I'll be in a different mind space than I am then. So if
You
I
think
don't
you'll go
even
back?
if I don't even think the same that I will 6 months ago or 6 months into the future, and my body isn't the same, then what exactly like is me? Like you are you in this exact second, and you are constantly changing, and that is like the person you are, and like you're gonna keep changing. That's the whole point. So you're like
I
this.
see. I see.
You're like this ever changing. I don't want to say soul because that sounds kind of mystical, right? But like it's like an undefinable thing. Or if it is definable, I lack the communication to be able to define
I
it.
I
Like,
love how you say it's not a soul because you're afraid to get religious with it.
yeah, well, I'm not religious. That's the thing.
You're afraid to be religious. Yeah.
Well, I don't want it to be religious because I feel like I would blow it off if I brought it up as religiousness because I
What
don't
if you?
believe
What
in.
if you, Snow? What if you yourself accidentally prove God exists somehow?
Well,
Through,
I don't dis. So here's the thing: I don't think that God doesn't exist. I think
Mhm.
that like the Christian God doesn't exist. Does that make sense? So if
Right.
there is a God, I think it would be like a more It's definitely not a guy wearing a robe with a beard.
Well, I mean that's just a cartoon rendition of him.
Yeah, but I'm saying like these religions that we have, they're very specified, and people take them very literally. When I think it's supposed to not be taken literally. I think
Well, I
it's
mean, angels in the Bible are depicted as like 8 winged creatures of 17 eyes.
or like people with harps and shit, right? Like I don't think it's that. Like I think there's very much a possibility that like God is just like God could very much be a mathematic equation that like just creates particles to like combine. and
Right.
like spontaneous reactions happen. Like that could be God, or God could be, I don't know what the fuck. It could be like a fourth dimensional, just like a clock or something, right? Like God isn't necessarily. It's definitely not like a dude. It's definitely not like a dude that watches over us and determines whether we go to hell and whether we're good or bad.
Do you
That
think you're gonna
I know
do
for
you think you're
sure.
gonna be that guy who's in his late 70s? Not to say you're not gonna kill yourself when you get older, because I know that's your joke, but let's say you do get old, you decide to keep your life going, right?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be that guy who's gonna be like 75, dying on his bed, googling, "Will I meet my friends in hell or heaven?"
No,
Like
I
we
think so. I was saying earlier, like, I think I would replace my body like over time with like augments,
And
like
what
if
if
it
that
becomes
doesn't come true? What
available.
if that's not a thing?
I mean, if it does, I mean, I can dream, right? It's looking like it will become a thing. There's already amputees that have working like cybernetic arms. Elon Musk is doing the brain chip thing that like attaches to your fucking brain and helps you remember shit and think better. And I
You
don't
don't
like.
seem like the kind of guy who would leave your future up to something so, mysterious.
You think that's more mysterious?
I think the unknown is mysterious for sure. Like you don't know if it's going to come out. If it's available to you, it
Well,
might
here's
be
the
like
thing. I'm not leaving it. If it comes out, it'll happen. It's not like
you
there's
turn
not much else I can do. The alternative, Chugga, is to just grow old and die. So either I can grow old and die, or I can grow old and die. But like maybe this cool tech will come out that'll like let me be immortal for the rest of the time. You see what I'm saying?
if I had your mentality and I wanted Cyberpunk to be real, I would just quit my job and start working on Cyberpunk to make it real.
Okay, but here's the thing. I have like multiple goal aspirations. Okay, and like so I want to become famous. Everyone knows
Yeah,
that, right? Which is another reason why I like really just connect with like V as like a
that's why you're here.
character. Like super, because he wants the exact same thing. So like I immediately like bonded with him. There was
Yeah.
that, you know, that stripper scene you were talking about where like the stripper lays you down and
Yes.
talks to you.
Okay.
I had a very like weird, almost I don't want to say out of body, but I had a like very weird, almost uncomfortable experience when that happened, because it didn't feel like she was talking to V. It felt like she was talking like directly to me. Like if you go watch the stream when that happened, I get like kind of quiet and I stop being snarky, because like what she's saying like rang very true to home. You know what I mean?
Will you take that advice though? Will you start doing what she said?
Um, I think I did take her advice in a little bit. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't like, it's not like Cyberpunk it changed my life, I don't think. But
It sounds like it has.
I was like, I was in a place where shit was happening when Cyberpunk came out, right? I
Yep.
was like behind the scenes, there was a lot of stuff happening, okay? And some of it was not so good. And like there was already this kind of like shift in mentality happening. And then that happened like while I was already going through this kind of like I was asking myself the exact same question that the game was asking me when the game came out. Does that make sense? It just happened to be a timing coincidence thing.
Right. And you don't want to talk about what it was that
I
changed it,
don't want
right?
to specifically talk about it, and I won't
Okay.
say like the game influenced me, but I thought it was very perfect timing and like very strange that like this game was posing this philosophical question that I was like wrestling with IRL at the exact same time that I was wrestling with it. And Cyberpunk didn't give me any answers, but I definitely thought about it more and more. You know what I mean? Like it was
I
definitely
gotcha.
another angle to. And then going through the Cyberpunk story and like seeing that play out, what like I also thought about that, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay, that scene though with the stripper,
Yeah.
I thought I chose Sky, but it gave me Angel. And I was like, "No, gross. Ew." And I skipped everything.
So you got the girl or the guy?
I got the guy and I didn't want to do anything with that guy, so
You should replay it and go with the girl and see if what she
I
says.
swear to God, I have to watch my VOD. I swear I picked Sky and it picked Angel for me. And I
Damn,
showed up. I'm like, who
R.I.P.
the hell is this guy?
I'm real glad I picked the right one.
Yeah. I skipped it. And he was like, oh,
Yeah.
what the hell? What's going on here?
But
So they
that's
woke up
why I
and was
really
running.
vibe with Cyberpunk story, because the whole thing is like V's trying to become this legend in Night City, and like, is the cost worth it? And that was like the thing I was struggling with at the time.
So okay, so V gets famous, but okay, here's another thing too that I don't like about the game is there is a lot of play with your expectations of how the world actually works. So I'm expected to learn that that there's a lot of Deus Ex Machinas. For example, as soon as you do one mission, you have every what do you call the guys? Taskers? The guys who give you lots of missions?
Fixers,
Fixers.
I think fixers.
Yeah, they all call you simultaneously. Not to say it's a bug or anything,
Here's
but
the
it's like
thing. I think that's more. I will agree that's a little bit weird. That's not critical to the story because you don't have to do their missions at all to progress the story. That is more of a gameplay thing. I think what they try to do there is just open up every single side quest because it'd be really annoying if you go to like Pacifica, right? And like most of the side quests aren't open, and then like 44 hours later you get a call and like you get a bunch of missions in Pacifica, and you're like, I was just there, man. Like, why the fuck do I have to go back and do these? Like, why weren't these quests available earlier?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
Because
get this,
driving
there's
through the city, I had like a million quests everywhere, and I really liked that. I think I really wouldn't have liked it if like I played 6 hours and then like quests started opening up later and later, and I'm like, man, I've already been down this street like a million times. There were no quests here, and I think they did that strictly for a gameplay sense. See what I'm saying?
what I don't like. This is it. I just don't like the fact that there are some really cool side quests that you have to find. Like you seen the Monk Brothers, the ones you have to save.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of shit, right? The guy like, oh shit, there's actually extra missions here. I thought every mission was what you had to call for. I said, why did they even call me? I could find missions, and I thought if I found a fixer on the street would be way better than having one call me story wise. But that's just a little nitpick on my end here. I just don't get why they all called me simultaneously after finishing one deck.
It probably would play out better if you found them on the street, but at the same time, like they have just like cell phones built in their head. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah,
okay, why the fuck would you? Why would you? At that point, like it's the same thing. Like, why would I go to someone's house? I can just Discord or text them or like, you know?
yeah. Was there any like little I want to say Easter eggs or possibly little details that you like the most?
Little Easter eggs or details that I like the
I
most.
found when I went back to the site where I lost my mind, and I found Dex's body there. I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's real neat. In terms of Easter eggs, Death Stranding babies in the game. I found Hideo Kojima.
He's in the game.
Yeah, Hideo Kojima's just like talking about like the future of like tech or something, and like the lobby of like this like bougie hotel like that you do the heist from.
I wish you can kill everyone in the game. There's some people you can't
There's like
kill.
an Akira bike. I think one thing, it's not really an Easter egg, but one thing I like very appreciated about the game is it very much like wears its inspiration like on its sleeve. So like I would be just like sitting downtown at the waterfront. I'm like, this is Ghost in the Shell. Like this is 100% where the major just like turns invisible and like fights like that one dude. I'm like, this is like straight out of Ghost in the Shell. And then I'm like driving and it's like raining and I'm like in the Corpo district, like the industrial, and there's like fire coming out. And I'm like, this is Blade Runner. Like this is exactly Blade Runner. It's like the same color palette. It looks exactly, there's like the industrial, like the big square buildings, the pyramids, the flying cars, like the gloominess. This is Blade Runner. And then like out in the fucking wasteland, I'm like, this is Mad Max. This is fucking Mad Max. Like
I like the Mad Max.
It's all the my favorite genres, and they're all together, and it just works so fucking amazing.
Do you know what I bet? No one's found it yet, but I bet that the apartment from the first Blade Runner is actually in this game somewhere.
Probably.
Where he's like enhance.
That's another thing. Ghost in the Shell has nudity too, like a lot of nudity, and I think Ghost in the Shell was very. I think it was on that same wavelength that like in the future, when body modification, people have like they rip their eyes out and put cybernetic eyes in. Like I think we will look at the human body differently than we do now, which is why like nudity, like the major just gets naked, like her tits are just out when she's invisible, and like she doesn't care, and like no one else seems to care either because I think they understand.
So I'm going to tell you some cool stuff. I want you to try and find these in the game for me, okay?
All right.
If it's raining outside, there's a skyscraper with the guy from Blade Runner who holds a bird sitting cross-legged on top of a skyscraper.
Oh, that's so cool! What?
It's only when it's raining.
GLaDOS is in the game too. GLaDOS is in the game.
Yeah, that's an obvious one though.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Obvious.
I felt that was too pushed. I didn't like that one too much, but I liked it. It was still fun. Another one too. So the girls you talk to at the very start who are with Vic, you have the one girl with the straight hair. She talks to Jackie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She has the bushy hair. Then you have the other girl with the blue hair. There are actually references to Blade Runner 1 and the second one.
Okay, so the girl, I don't know if this is who you're talking about. The girl that Jackie dates, the spiritual girl?
Yeah.
She's Pris from Blade Runner. Yeah.
And then the other girl with the blue hair who you meet, she's friends with the chick who owns that bar.
Yeah, she's kind of like the replicant he chases down. You're right. I never
You're
thought
right.
about her, but I definitely saw Pris in there. Jackie's
And
girlfriend.
then there's actually a Batmobile and a little note saying, I'm not the guy that the corpo wanted, but I'm the one they deserve." And you can find a Batmobile in the game.
There's a lot of little note Easter eggs. There's a JoJo Easter egg.
Really?
Yeah,
What JoJo?
there's like I think if you do a side mission, you get a call from someone named Jotaro, and he says one of the quotes or something. There's like
That's
a
great.
couple JoJo Easter, like some of the poses that you can do in the camera mode are
But you
JoJo
find it's actually the
poses.
fastest car in a game. It's in a cave somewhere,
I have
way
that.
deep
I
down.
have that one. Yeah.
You do? Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I stumbled upon it. And I was like, "What the fuck?" I never read it though, because there are games where like I do like to read all the shit. I find it like when I'm streaming though, I want to be entertaining, and like I feel like sitting there like pausing, and there's like a lot of notes in Cyberpunk. Every 5 seconds, I pick up a new
There's
fucking
a lot of stuff, yeah.
So I found like I was like, there's like 100 people, 200 people watching me. I'm not just gonna sit here and read every paragraph like every 5 seconds.
Yeah,
And
you're doing
like,
really good right now. Oh, listen to this though. Okay, so you know those hacking sequences where you can like hack line 1, 2, or 3?
yes.
You know you can get all 3, right?
Hmm?
You can get all 3 at once.
I've only gotten 2 at once. I've never gotten all 3. But then again, I wasn't big into hacking. So
I loved it. It's my favorite part of the game.
yeah,
I would
I
like do a
was.
gunfight and I would like jump around hacking things in the meantime. It's just fun.
I would only hack things like when I needed to, like turn
I
off
never
cameras.
used them. I never used them. I give you components.
Like
That's
I
it.
very much played into the whole like I am like bulletproof. I can like punch people in half, and then I would slide in, like shoot people with the pistol, get bored of it, switch to my fists, beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I'd sometimes pick up an assault rifle. A cool thing is you could rip off the turrets. I got my strength high enough.
Yes.
I ran up to the turrets. I ripped them off and was like, and that thing's like really fun too. Yeah.
Dude, fucking okay. The double barrel shotguns. If you hit a person twice, the second shot knocks them on their ass.
I kind
So
of
they
wish
would-
there were more executions with the fist. There was really only one.
Really, there's executions. I don't like the fact you can like sneak on people and instant kill them. I wish there was like an actual like fist fight mechanic like Hitman has, sort of
Yeah.
like a
I
forced
found
combat.
that when you grab people from behind, they just give up, and then you can
Have you
walk
ever-
around with them.
You ever play hockey games growing up?
No, not once.
Okay,
Very
in the hockey
un-Canadian.
in the hockey games, if you get into a fist fight for some reason, it's a really weird mechanic where you have to grapple, duck, dodge, and pull and punch, and you try and knock their stamina down so they fall on the ground. I wish they had that mechanic in more games, but it's only hockey games who have this mechanic. It's a really fun mechanic to play with.
Very very bizarre thing. I kind of want a mod that makes the weather more prevalent, because there are different weather systems. So for
Mhm.
example, there's like a rain, there was like a there's like a fog like in the sunset, and then there's like a dust storm too. There's
Wow.
there's like these weather systems, but you don't see them enough, and I kind of really like them. So like I hope like some mods come out that add like varying weather more frequently. So maybe it's like spitting and then it's like pouring rain, or it's like foggy out, or like just regular. You know what I mean? Because I do think like the weather was when I did see the weather in the game, it was like very nice. Like when I saw the rain, I just found myself like driving around the city because it looked cool.
I couldn't drive too well in the game. My frames went to 15, 20.
Oh, really? I didn't have
It
too
was-
much. There are times where like I would load into a new area, like and it would chug, like it would drop down to like 15 frames. But for the most part, it was pretty good.
Yeah. No, the rest of the game was completely fine, but as soon as I got in a vehicle, it just dropped.
I think
I
it
don't
was
know
the
why.
race in particular. My frames dropped during the very last race, the death race.
Yo, fuck that race, dude. Fuck those races.
I didn't
The
get the
third
cool
race.
car I wanted. Feels
Yeah, the
bad.
third race, she was like, "Oh, go kill him, go this way," and I'm like, "Nah, I'm gonna finish the race." She's like, "Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "I don't fucking care about you. Shut up."
I finished the race because I thought since I spared his life, he would give me the car. That's not what happened at all. I think you have to go kill him and steal his car. And I was
Yeah, I
so
think
upset.
that's how it
Yeah, I
works,
was
yeah.
so upset because I was like, I'm gonna metagame the fuck out of this, and they're like, no. I was like, oh.
So, how close was this to your expectations to Blade Runner?
How close is it to Blade Runner?
Like, what were you? Okay, well, I'm trying to say like the feel and atmosphere of Blade Runner, where like it's kind of dystopian.
So I didn't expect Blade Runner full on because Blade Runner is like noir. You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, Blade Runner is very noir, which is cool, but I think I definitely like Cyberpunk more now that I think about it. Like hard-boiled noir detective is cool and all, and Blade Runner's like really cool. But I like the feeling of Cyberpunk better. And I know Cyberpunk isn't perfect. Like probably 10 years from now, when Cyberpunk, it'll probably get like a re-release in like HD or something, like, well, it's already HD, but it'll probably get I don't know, re-release of like 6K or something, right? And at that point, there'll be like a million mods, like increased city clutter and like improved like lighting and
I
like
can't wait for the
more
performance
and more
improvements.
building density. I think then at that point, that is like what right now it's kind of limited by like what it's on, but I think what it's aiming for is like the perfect Cyberpunk kind of, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it has like it has like the Blade Runner noir like kind of dark dystopia, but it also has like the very vibrant kind of poppy advertiser like heavy
I feel
upbeat.
this world plays more into the hands of Idiocracy than it does Blade Runner.
What do you mean by that?
You watched Idiocracy, right? Where like it's
No.
still like, okay, Idiocracy is a movie where they go to the future and corporations own everything.
Yeah, well, that's Blade Runner has that too, but Blade Runner focuses more on the individual like humanity aspect of it.
You've
But
never seen Idiocracy?
No, I've never seen Idiocracy. I don't know
You
what that is.
have to watch it. It's like the first Cyberpunk.
What?
Yeah, it's better than Blade Runner in my opinion.
I mean, to be fair, the original Blade Runner is not that good. I mean, it's good, but it's not as good as 2049. I'll be the first one to admit that.
You really like 2049?
It's my favorite film.
I didn't care for Gosling at all.
Really?
Nah,
Rewatch it, dude.
I feel like they should have hired someone else for that.
I love Ryan Gosling as it. I like
feel
Ryan
like-
Gosling a lot.
I feel like Joaquin Phoenix probably could have done a better job. It felt like a very meta type of character, and Gosling's so different. He's not the character for
I
me.
think the reason they got Gosling is because he does that very. Have you ever seen Drive?
Yes, I like that movie.
He does that exact character, like the very disconnected, weird character, and I feel like that's the exact kind of character that K is supposed to be.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about 2049 instead, we can. But I feel like the character for K should have been more about like discovering humanity and trying to be humanity. But like he wasn't. He was just kind of like doing a job, and it felt like that.
So the thing is, that's the first film. That the first film was kind of discovering humanity in the replicants, and
Yeah.
I like what K did because K was kind of like he discovered humanity, but then he lost it, right? And then the coolest thing about Blade Runner 2049 is that he realizes he's not special. Like I really for a while I did not like it when I was in the film. I kind of didn't like the whole like you're special, like you're a boy, you're a real, you know what I mean? Like it kind of I don't like the idea of being born special. I really don't. That's why another reason why I picked Street Kid. Like because I wasn't born special, right? I was born in a fucking in a
manger.
I was born in like a broken home, right? Like lower income in a fucking inner city, right? And like
Right.
I didn't have like a lot of the special things that like a lot of kids had. Well, I wouldn't say special, but I had a lot of shit that kids didn't, or I didn't have a lot of shit that other kids had. I had like less opportunity.
Oh, I feel you there. buddy.
I was like very much an underdog growing up. So like when I see stories of like, oh, you were born like a special Harry Potter wizard, or like, you know, you were born with great powers that no one else has, I kind of shy away from that. I tend to take more to the stories where like you're just an average dude and like it could happen to anybody. That's why I kind of liked the last Jedi, because they told Rey or whatever, like, oh, you're not a Skywalker, you're not like a special, you're just a nobody.
Oh, I
You remember?
hated
And then
those
they
movies.
retconned it in the next one, which was so stupid. It takes away the whole message.
I heard to replace those movies of a new trilogy. as if it
I
didn't
hate
happen.
those films, but the second one is like pretty good compared to the rest of them. I
Which one
kind
did
of
they kill Han Solo? Was that the first one?
the first one they kill Han Solo.
That's my favorite part.
I like that part, but I like the second one where they kill Luke. I really like that one because, oh man, they ruin it because the whole point, right? The second one, what Ryan Johnson was doing was he was telling this generation of kids, right, that's growing up watching Star Wars for the first time, and it's the Last Jedi, right? And they're watching like Rey, Kylo, and Finn, and all these characters. He was telling them in his film that like you don't have to be fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi or fucking Luke Skywalker to like save the galaxy to be a hero. Like anybody could be a hero. Anybody could be a Jedi. You know what I mean? It's like you could be
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter who you are. That was like such an important message, I think, that Disney could have given these kids, and they fucking retconned it. It's so stupid. That pisses me off a lot.
At least there's no nudity in Star Wars, right?
That you think of, there might be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Blade Runner definitely an influence. Ghost in the Shell an influence.
Yeah, Mad Max an influence for sure.
Mad Max an influence. But there actually is a lot of influences of Idiocracy, and you're missing out. You should watch that for sure.
There's a lot of influence from something called Neuromancer, I believe. Like
Neuromancer.
Very heavily. I think that's what the game is most influenced by.
Never even heard of
So
that.
I believe it's an old tabletop. I think.
Huh.
Yeah.
There's some Easter eggs for Witcher in the game too.
I haven't seen any Easter eggs for Witcher, but I remember there was a Cyberpunk Easter egg in Witcher 3, which was really cool.
There's a Dark Souls reference in Witcher 3.
There's a lot of Easter eggs that we probably haven't even found yet in Cyberpunk that
I can't wait.
are probably really cool.
You know what I want to do? I want to do a stupid run. So like it's like a speed run, but it's not a speed run. It's called a stupid run. So like I found a croissant to eat. It was the only croissant I could ever find in the game. I want to do a run where I find a croissant and eat it.
Okay.
And I want to see how fast I can get it.
Don't let
Croissant speedrun?
Yeah, croissant. And then like I'll get that one character from Jimmy Neutron. I'll get his voice clips when I win. They're like, "How you gonna eat that croissant?" And it'll be like the victory speech.
I'm very interested to see what the expansions are. I can't wait, dude. I love the game. I want to replay it again.
Do you think it's gonna do better on the current world or make more areas?
I want it to be a Night City. I don't really. I would be okay with seeing more areas, but I feel like building a whole new city would take so much. Like, I feel like Night City itself is so expansive. There's like a bunch of clubs that you don't go in, for example, and a bunch of buildings you never visit that are cool.
I would love flying cars.
So here's the thing: I don't want to fly the cars in Blade Runner.
Why?
So, or not Blade Runner. In Cyberpunk treats flying cars like Blade Runner, and that they're helicopters, like they're special. So the only reason like Kay and Harrison Ford have flying cars is because they're like detectives in like this special like where they hunt down replicants. Like not everybody has flying cars in Blade Runner. There's actually like not a whole lot of people that do have flying cars in Blade
I would like
Runner.
a mission where you fly a car, at least. I don't want to be the shooter. I want to be the flyer.
I don't want to be the. I feel like it wouldn't feel right. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it'd be too gamey. You remember in Mass Effect 2 when you fly the flying car?
Yeah.
And you fly and you're like, this is a cool little mini game. That's what I feel like it'd be like. I feel like it'd just be a cool little mini game. And I'd rather just be immersed in the world. Like I'd rather just be in the flying car, like while someone else drives, like in the back of it, sipping champagne, like with a high profile person. And it'd be
I don't know
cool
why.
because you'd be there.
I thought the concept of driving and shooting would be cool, but like it wasn't. Like she didn't kill anyone shooting. I wish she did. You know, those racing missions.
Oh yeah, I thought they were kind of easy, so I never.
They were. I got screwed over in the first mission. I don't know if it happened to you, but like the first race, I was in first place, and then she threw 2 cars in front of me. Like this.
No, I didn't have that. I came in first place in every single one.
It was dumb. It was so dumb. But no, I don't know why they had a shooting mechanic. None of the cars blew up. It was kind of silly.
I think they can. My car definitely lit on fire.
Yeah, but it didn't blow up. I think there's like a health limit during the race. Like they never go below a certain percent.
Never tested it, but I never got my car blown up.
Yeah.
I think I did. I think I did throw grenades at a car and it blew up though.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
You ever steal a cop car?
No, I stopped stealing cars because you can just call in your car, which I like a lot more. Also, it makes it. I realized while playing it, GTA does this weird thing where in GTA you just walk up and like steal cars. You know what I mean? Besides online, but like when you're playing the single player, like I would just run up and steal a car. But like in Cyberpunk, once I got my car, I did not do that, and it felt a lot more true to the character and the story. Because it doesn't make sense if you're running around stealing every car in broad daylight. It really doesn't. Like especially when you can just call in your car, like at the touch of a button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this one part where I had to do a stealth mission. It was a big factory place. You know, they gotta like convince the guard to open the door for you.
Yeah.
I killed the guard accidentally. I couldn't do that. I was like, how do I get in? So I stole a giant truck and I climbed on top of it and got inside.
See, that's some like meta shit that's really cool.
I thought it was so fun. That's the kind of shit I like in games where you can win unexpectedly or do
Yeah,
something crazy like that.
like when I just hopped over the fence, like
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
Yes. Exactly. There's a lot of fences in the game.
yeah.
A lot of borders.
I know.
I okay, let's talk about so you said you didn't use any health potions the entire game.
No, I did. I chugged the fuck out of the. I never ran out, is what I said.
Oh, you never ran out. Okay, did you ever use grenades?
All the time.
Yeah, me too. Like it was
I had a
if I had
million
too
of
much
them.
trouble, just toss a couple grenades. You win a game.
I also never equipped the nades. They were just auto equipped. So I never knew what grenade I was throwing. It was always a surprise.
Oh yeah, it starts off with a base grenade, which gives you like 1,000 of those. They do like 55 damage. You change into the other ones, they do like 1,600
I
damage.
started throwing like flashbangs and fucking EMPs and shit. I threw an EMP at these robots and they instantly just died. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
Threw
there's
an
like
EMP at these
300%.
guys, it did nothing. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's funny. You ever used like okay, there's a hack, and it's called short circuit. It instant kills someone, and I had a mod to it, so it bounced another target. So I got 2 kills in one.
I saw some people you can like snipe with that apparently.
Yeah, it's insanely good. You get like a mod to increase its range, and it costs 8 RAM to use, but it's an instant kill on 2 targets.
I don't think I ever leveled up my RAM, or if I did, I didn't put anything in the slots.
Oh, I
'Cause I
forgot to tell you
never
this.
hacked.
Okay, so the glitch I had where I had a million eddies, I spent it on so much stupid shit. I modded my character out max pretty much. Like every cybernetic ability I had every boot. So like I didn't have the jump legs you had. I couldn't find them. I just had the jump legs for like the double jump in and the stealth. But I had the gorilla arms on legendary.
Here's what I will say. I was disappointed in that the modifications that you get don't physically show up besides the gorilla arms. I don't think there's a single one besides gorilla arms and mantis blades that show up.
The tattoos do.
The tattoos don't do any. There's only like one or two of them. I think there's two of them.
There's like
And
three
the
of them. There's
the tattoos, like they're only on your arm, right?
the right arm, and then Johnny gives you one you can't get rid of.
Yeah, you can get rid of it, I think.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah, you can. You can swap it. I still have it though. But here's the thing, right? I was expecting like you can get eye mods and then your eyes are like glowy, you know, like you'd have
Oh,
like
like there's a different.
yeah,
It
or
changes
you'd
the HUD,
have like
doesn't
a
it?
metal jaw. That's what I really want. If what number one thing I want in an expansion, even if it's just cosmetic, I want new cybernetics to actually change the appearance of your character. Because like I want some people, I want to look at my friend and maybe he has like he has like a targeting system and he just has like a chrome faceplate. You know what I mean? Or like a chrome mouth. Or
What,
like
okay, what about the ability to go full smasher and is like completely
go
change
Adam
the whole body?
Smasher? I would do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be cool. You should do that.
just go
I
full
think
robot.
that should definitely either be a mod. Someone should maybe 100% make it a mod, like in the future, I guess. But like that'd be cool to be in the game because like the only thing I remember I got like this I got this skin, this legendary skin reduces like or increases my health by 50%. Right? It's like nano weave skin. Does not
Yeah.
change my skin at all. There's nothing like on my chest piece. There's nothing on my arms. There's not nowhere. It just looks exactly identical. It'd be cool if it added like you know how when you get the gorilla arms, like there's kind of those lines. You kind of have them on your face too.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if your body just had a ton of those lines because you.
Okay, you know the special suits that replace your entire look?
Yeah,
I think there's a Ghost in a Shell special.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think I
I
saw
think
it.
I saw one.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, one thing I hate about the cosmetics, 100% I hate, is that when you find good ones, they're always ugly as hell. Fashion souls, please.
Yeah, I did not play. I played my fashion the way I liked it. Like I didn't play for stats. I just dressed the
I
way I liked it.
I tried combat with no armor. It didn't make a difference. I still died in 3 hits anyways.
I have
So like
I have these nice Converse that I just wore the whole game because I liked them, and then I have like I just like Johnny Silverhand pretty much.
okay, early on I found a shirt with 2 slots. I put immunity to poison, immunity to electricity, and I kind of flew through a lot of the quests. It was fun.
I don't think I ever ogged my clothing at all.
Yeah, that's how you get the immunity parts. It's like, okay, you know that one quest with the taxi cabs? I
Yeah,
forget his name now. The final mission where you run across the electrical floor. You have to like avoid it by going underneath and stuff like that. Well, I was immune to electricity. I just walked around it. Like it just finished the
that's
mission
fucking
instantly.
awesome. I didn't know you could just 100% be immune. That's
I
kind of
fell
cool.
on I fell onto it. I'm like, oh, am I gonna die? Oh, wait, what the fuck? And I found out I was just immune to it. I'm like, oh, I thought it was a glitch, and it was like, nope.
I know you can be immune to fire and shit too.
But then like I still
But
did the
yeah, like
mission as
when I got the jump legs, I was thinking it was gonna give me robot legs. It didn't. Like that'd be cool, right? To have like
that
robot
would be
knees or
cool.
something.
It
Yeah,
might have been
like
cut. It might have been cut actually because they ran out of
it
time.
definitely was cut. Like 100% like that's what they wanted to do, but you know the game has to come out. They have to make
What,
cut.
okay, what else do you think was cut? I got a couple things I think were cut. I think
Um,
better AI, like reaction in a public, was probably cut.
uh,
Because people,
100%. I think the fixers had their own kind of stories that were cut. I think for sure.
I think Vic, he had a couple like points in. He wasn't a fixer, but like I think he could have had like an entire like you pay him back his money. I think he had an entire thing ready for that.
Yeah,
Like
probably. There's a lot. There's a lot that was definitely cut because like the original game. So you were supposed to in the original game you play as like the C Tech or whatever, which is like the what. So you know the side missions where you go the cyber psychos.
yeah, I couldn't find any.
When they pitched Cyberpunk, when they first told it, you're like this elite task force that works for the corps or like the police, and you go around dealing with these people, and their cybernetics act up, and they go on a killing spree, and that just ended up
Oh.
becoming the side missions. Like they're just you just walk up and kill these like
Oh my
mini
god, that
bosses.
reminds me of the fucking my favorite part in the game, the BDs. That was amazing.
Brain Dance was really cool, yeah.
I was like, okay, so when I played Arkham City or Arkham Knight, whatever they had it
It
in,
is. I said it was exactly like Batman Detective mode. That's
it
what I
was.
said. Yeah.
You go
So
back
is
and
like
forth.
your hack mode too, right? When you can see the connections and shit. I'm like, dude, let me just turn on my Batman Detective Vision.
Yeah, dude. Fucking
Another
A.
funny thing, I said this already. Batman Arkham
Origins?
Knight. No, Arkham Knight. Arkham
Okay.
Knight is so comparable to Cyberpunk because both are just phenomenal games that get so much hate because of their release date. Right? Am I wrong?
What was the release date? Near Christmas?
Well, no, state as in like it was buggy and didn't run
Oh.
for a lot of when Arkham Knight came out, a lot of people couldn't run it on their PCs, and
For some reason,
its reviews got bombed, and
for
its reputation is kind of tarnished because of it.
I don't know, man. I like all the Arkham games. Like people say Arkham Origins is the worst one,
It
and I
is.
can see that, but like I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I mean, it's
I still
not
like it.
bad, but it's definitely the worst one.
There was something wrong with it actually. I tried getting 100% and I couldn't do it. It's impossible.
Like, especially if you played like 1, 2, and then Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins felt like a 2.5 instead of a 3. You know what I mean?
Huh.
Because it was.
Okay.
But and then
Okay.
Arkham Knight came out, and Arkham Knight was like really good. So
Okay.
Arkham Origins is good, but it very much is a middle sequel, which is like the problem with middle sequels.
Hey, not gonna lie, not gonna lie. I never get a chance to talk about this. I want to mention it. On my PS3, I tried getting 100% off my games, right? And I tried doing Arkham Origins, and it was impossible. There was this one thing it said you have to get a double takedown coming through event, and I said okay. I went through the entire game, and there's only one part in the entire game near the tower where there's a vent with two enemies standing near it. And if you don't get it on the first try, the vents don't respawn. You can't break the vent twice. So I had to do the entire game over again. It took 6 hours every time. So I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this twice.
That's fucking nice. There's probably stealth challenges where you can do it, right?
No, it had to be in game. It was like a during campaign you had to take two down people down from an event. It was ridiculous. It was like fuck this. They didn't bother testing the achievements. It made me really mad. Speaking of that, I hate achievements that require you to be online to do. Like Dark Souls 2, no one's going to do those once again. There's no way.
I
I've had
used to be really big into achievements when I played 360 a lot. I was part of this. I was part of almost this like community. I didn't even realize I was really a part of it, but I was an achievement. I don't want to say achievement hunter because I know achievement hunter was a thing by Rooster Teeth, but I very much like on my own would like go and try and get as many gamer score and like achievements as I could. I'd watch videos like when I'm bored, like easy achievements to get, and then I'd like go rent games that have a bunch of achievements for me to get, and I'd try
it
to
was
like
enticing.
and like when I played like back in the Halo 3 days, most people had like 14,000 gamer score. I had like 75,000.
Ooh.
And my gamer score now is like 77,000 because I stopped doing it. Like I stopped playing. I switched over to PC. Have not given a shit about Steam achievements or anything since. I do not give two fucks about it at all.
I don't really care for them either.
Yeah.
It's fun to see them and see how they go. Honestly, in my opinion, I think Stanley Parable destroyed all future worth of achievements.
What
Like
did it do?
there's an achievement that says don't play this game for 5 years.
Damn.
And like someone got it like this year. It was like the first person ever.
So they probably booted it up and then never played it again.
Yeah. No,
Holy
I
shit.
beat it this year and
I
it was
think
interesting.
I'm gonna download that game just to do that. That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, if you're gonna do Stanley Parable, make sure you just do the achievements because otherwise it's a pretty dull game. There is one that requires you to click a button for 3 hours straight. You gotta
Like
skip
I
that one.
remember I have some achievements that I'm pretty proud of. Like Mile High Club in COD 4 is like a really hard one. Only a few percent of people have it. It's essentially this timed bonus mission in the COD 4 campaign where like you're in a plane and like you have to play it on the hardest difficulty and finish the plane in like 30 seconds or something.
Oh wow.
So you basically have to go through this double decker plane and like everything kills you in like 2 shots basically. So you have to just go in like guns blazing. You don't have time to reload or stop. Like
I got 100% in Dark Souls 2, and that's very hard because you have to do 500 wins without losses in the blue rank and red rank separately.
yeah, I would never attempt Dark Souls anything. I'm not gonna. Dark Souls is one of those things where like I love the game to death, but I would never attempt one of those. I feel like the actual achievements for that game like require you to be obsessive to a point. You know what I mean? Like beat the
Yeah,
game without deaths is I know you've done that a bunch of times. I've never beaten any of the Dark Souls games with that. I've beaten Dark Souls 1 like probably 4 times. I've beaten Dark Souls 2 probably 4 times, and Dark Souls 3 I've beaten like twice.
I've beaten Dark Souls 1, I think 4 times as well. Dark Souls 2 more times than I can count, maybe like 25 times. Dark Souls 3 only 4 times myself. Not even no, maybe three. I did
Yeah,
it once for myself, once for my friends, and then
I
once for a second playthrough.
I just feel like I would never. I don't like the idea of like playing through a game and like going for like a no death run because I know I could do it, right? But I know it would be trial and error, and I just know I would not want to be sitting there like halfway through the game, like die and then like restart the whole fucking thing, and like that's like however many hours. You know what I mean? Like I would just feel like that's a waste of time. Like I feel like I don't need to beat the game without any
It's only
death.
really rewarding in Dark Souls 2 because you get those rings that make your weapons invisible.
Yeah, it's something that I feel like I feel like I could do it, but I feel like it would just piss me off too much. Like I don't want to.
I used to do it for fun. Like it was just a thing I did. I used to love Dark Souls so much. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
we're getting close to 2 hours in the stream here. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm pretty close. I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. Really
Well,
like
I
the
mean,
story, the characters, the
what
world.
would you rate it?
Uh this is gonna sound stupid, but like I don't know if I'd give it a number rating. Because like I feel like number ratings are stupid, right?
I rate things based on a replayability.
I rate things based on if you should play it. Like if I think you should play it. So for
Okay.
example, what's a really good game? God of War, the most recent one that came out. That was like a soft reboot. You know what I'm
Yep.
talking about? The boy
Oh yeah.
simulator. It was like boy.
More.
Really solid game. I'm never gonna replay it probably. I mean I might, but I don't really want to. Like I played it through once. It was kind of like a 10-hour story, like a movie. I really good game, probably one of the best games I've played, but like I wouldn't replay it. So you know what I mean? So like on
Okay.
your scale, that'd be I would
Well,
say Cyberpunk. I would definitely recommend it to like I mean anybody. I feel like the only people that don't like Cyberpunk are honestly, I'm gonna just say it, like I feel like they're just stupid. Like
yeah.
I
I
feel
mean,
I
there's
feel
some
like
things I didn't like, but I still enjoyed it. I'll play it again.
I feel like to
Definitely.
not enjoy Cyberpunk, you physically have to be like at a mentally just lower level. I don't know how you couldn't. I feel like people that can't appreciate like I don't know, man. It's like how do you play a single player game, but like you don't give a shit about the story or like any or like the characters, right? You know what I mean? Like if you go into The Witcher, right, and you don't give a fuck about character or story, what the fuck are you playing the game for? Like I feel like you're just stupid at that point. You know what I mean? Like you're like, I'd
Well,
rather just play Call of Duty. Well, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. You don't have the
I really
brain
have to give Witcher
capacity.
another try. I didn't give it a fair try the second time or
Maybe
the
it's like
first time.
maybe it's a bit fucking weird to say like they're not smart enough to enjoy it. Maybe intelligence isn't the right word, but
Patience?
I don't know, man. It's just I if you enjoy like football games and like racing games, maybe you won't enjoy. If you enjoy like a well-written story with like cyberpunk genre and shooting, you'll fucking like this. I don't know.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
feel like most normal people would enjoy this game. I feel like you have to be a special kind of like ADHD, like you don't fuck with. I don't know. You'd have to
Well,
be a
okay,
special kind of person to not like it, I think.
regardless whether you like nudity or not, the game is playable 100%. I recommend it, and I recommend replaying it too. There's so many different ways you can end the game that it's worth trying more than once. And because the save games are so generous, you can actually go back not too far and do it twice that way.
Well, you can save whenever you want.
That's the best part.
Yeah. So you can save right before like a critical decision and then load back and then do it.
Oh, I forgot to ask you this question. Did you beat all the brawl missions?
I did not beat the dude in the stadium.
I couldn't beat him.
Yeah, I tried. I cheated. I dropped the baseball bat and I got him down to 30% health or 29, and he healed back to 84%.
Oh my god, you can drop weapons and fight him with that?
You can drop melee weapons.
I could have dropped my bat and whipped his ass then. My bat is so
I'm
good.
telling you, he heals. He also one-shots me. So.
Oh, yeah, he two shots me. That's cool. I may go back and try and kick his ass then. I have a save file for that.
Yeah, I think at some point I'm going to try and beat his ass because
I'm actually really considering that croissant run, honestly.
Hey man, do it if you want.
Well, starting in January here, I'll be doing Dark Souls 2 speedruns. I want to get a world record.
Nice.
So that's my thing. What are you doing in January?
I don't know yet what I'm doing in January. I haven't looked at what games are coming out. I know I want to play through Phantom Pain, I want to play through Witcher 3, and I want to play through Arkham City. So...
Oh, Phantom Pain is longer than you think. It took me 4 times as long as any other.
So here's the thing. Phantom Pain is as long as you make it long.
All right, I'd rush through the missions. It still took an entire week and a half to beat.
Well, yeah, but you can beat Phantom Pain in like 20 hours.
Really?
Yeah, because you don't have to do all the side missions, right? You don't have to...
Oh, that's true.
You don't,
I guess you're
like,
right.
you don't have to 100%. I feel like once you get the ending of the game, you don't have to do the shit to get like nuclear deterrence, like 100% ending, right? You just have to get that ending. The game actually ends like 50% through when Sahelanthropus gets stolen, right?
That really is the ending? I thought the ending was with Quiet.
That's the ending of her story, so that's like a side mission that you wrap up.
Really? I thought that's the actual true ending. Okay, then I did beat the game early.
Because she has, so like Quiet has a side ending. I'm pretty sure like Huey has a little ending, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I know like there's the parasite thing that happens on Mother Base. That's not really an ending, I don't think. There's the ending where you get Sahelanthropus, which is kind of like the ending, and then it gets stolen, which is kind of more of like that's kind of bonus. So really you can end it when you get Sahelanthropus, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish they explained that the blonde boy was actually Liquid. They don't explain that at all.
They do in the game. Yeah.
I looked for it. I couldn't find it. Maybe it's on like a recording.
They talk about how he's a clone.
Oh man, I must have missed it.
Yeah, and I think at some point they reference Liquid, like as like they reference him by name.
Huh.
But for the most part, they say he's genetically similar to you in every way.
I would love to see a Solid instead of a Liquid, but Liquid is fine.
Yeah, I think I brought it up before. I really dislike all the hate on Phantom Pain, like a lot.
No, I enjoy Phantom Pain a lot.
Yeah, no, but like here's the thing. Phantom Pain is it has this DMC issue where like the mega fanboys are like, it's so fucking stupid because the game isn't complete because they cut a level. Like people don't understand that their favorite games always have cut content. Every game you've ever played, like there's a point where they have to meet a window and they have to cut content. Like Witcher 3 did it, Cyberpunk did it. KOTOR is notorious for cut content. One of the best games ever. Notorious for cut content.
There's a hidden thing I don't know too much about, but at the very beginning of Phantom Pain, when you're looking at yourself in a medical bed, there's talk of people saying that that's not actually you as Big Boss. You take a medical procedure to make yourself look like Big Boss.
Granddad!
So, like, are you actually being Big Boss, or are you just acting as Big Boss throughout the game?
No, the whole point of it is you are Big Boss. Like, your Big Boss is two people.
Then how come before you look at yourself in a mirror, you're actually someone else?
Well, because, so, here's the thing. Big Boss is not just a person. He's the legend. Similar, okay, so very, very interesting you bring that up, because the same thing happened with me and Johnny Silverhand.
Okay.
Because V is more than just V. He's also Johnny Silverhand. Like, he's both at the same time.
It felt weird actually being a girl and then having Johnny Silverhand take over because it felt like
I
an
think that would
intrusion.
feel very weird because I wasn't a girl. Like I was a dude, so
Yeah, it actually felt like more of an intrusion on my mind. I took offense to
I
Johnny being there.
challenge you to, if you do ever want to play through Cyberpunk again, I
I
challenge
do.
you to try and play through the way I played through, in that you're a street kid, you're a male, and then try and play through in the idea that your character V wants, like what I want, like he wants to be famous, and he's like that's his like ultimate goal, and he befriends Johnny Silverhand. Uh, I
Deal.
I test you to see that, and then see if you like that story more than the story you got.
I will play through as a male V who lets Johnny take over. I'll try and get 70% on a Johnny scale.
Just you don't
And
even have to do that. Just honestly do his side quests because you'll see him from a different perspective entirely.
what he's sad.
I kind of want to, because like he goes there comes a point where like Johnny Silverhand kind of wants to make up for like the bad shit he's done. So he has you like hitting up his like old friends and like
Mm.
talking to them, which are side quests. And you learn a lot about Johnny not only through him but through his friends. And he definitely changes like a whole lot. And you see what one of the like more beautiful things about the relationship is Johnny like influences V, obviously because he's taken over his brain, but V also influences Johnny, and like there's kind of like a back and forth, which I thought like they both grow as characters
I would
because
like
of
if
it.
they just merge into one and I get confused who they are.
I mean, that's kind of what happens a little bit.
You know what I would like more about Johnny is if he wasn't just so aware and accepting of the situation. At the start, he's kind of angry that you're there and he wants your body and won't give it to him. But like, I would prefer if he was just like you, like, where the hell am I? Like, he acts like it's him too, and he's unaware of your presence. That'd be way better for me.
I like
Because
that he's aware of your presence. I like that a lot.
I like the dialogue, but I would rather if he was like he cuts in every so often and takes over your voice lines, and you become Johnny, you lose control sometimes. Like if he
So
cuts
I
scenes.
actually, at the end of the game, my voice lines are completely different. That happens because at the
Oh,
end of the game, my subtitles say Johnny. They don't say V.
oh, okay.
Because
Well, then
and,
I definitely gotta do it then.
yeah, and it completely changes the. Not only that, you start seeing his silver hand on your left hand.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
He's oh wait, is he left-handed? Do you know this?
I don't know if he's left-handed, but his silver hand is in fact on his left arm.
How does he play guitar? Does it aim left or right?
I have no idea.
Because that makes a difference. I'm left-handed and I play guitar with
I
the neck
think
to the
he's
left.
right-handed because he holds his pistol with his right hand.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, we recommend it 100%. I want to thank you for showing up, Snow.
Hey,
If you
no
guys don't
problem,
know
dude.
who he is, I'm sure you know him more than me. But this is a Snow SOS. That's at Twitch. I am Chugachu. I want to thank you guys for watching. Tune in on the 2nd of January. I won't be streaming during holidays, but I'll see you guys then. Thanks for showing up, Snow.
No problem, dude.
You take her easy. This is your captain signing out. Chugga chugga choo choo.